Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the ESL Open Cup number 199 Asia. I'm of course host Light VIP, and it has been a while since we've been here on the Cranky Ducklings. I miss you guys, Papi. I miss you guys. Of course, over the weekend we were busy covering the B stream for ESL Masters Winter, and in a couple of days we'll be back on the B stream as well. But for now, we're here. We're back at home. We're back in the pond. Quack, Bobby, quack. We are back where we belong, and here we go. We're diving into our first series of the night of the tournament, exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the back of yourselves. For those wondering, this is an open tournament. Open to all regions, but at a Korean-friendly time slot. Friendly time slot, Bobby. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. We have our American Protoss representing Matcherino Esports. It is Estrella. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Protoss representing the Starving Camels SSLT. It is Cyan. Oh, and thank you, Talimo. Thank you. Do appreciate it. I do what I can. I do what I can for StarCraft, and also because obviously I enjoy it. You know, definitely passionate about StarCraft. It's been a major part of my life for a long time, and I'm doing my part. As we have a very interesting opener. Oh my god. So Cyan is going for a standard 2-gate opener. Relatively standard 2-gate opener, but something that's a little bit interesting as he goes off to throw down a proxy. Additional gases were taken quite quickly here for Cyan. I'm curious if he's going to be committing here to a proxy Stargate, maybe a proxy Robo. Estrella having really interesting building positioning, actually. So because he throws down his buildings away from the wall, it makes it look like he's maybe proxying. So a little bit of mind games early on, but yeah, I'm not too fond of this, actually. This means that we won't be able to wall off the ramp as easily as we get into the game, but we do kind of tuck away our gateways, and they are in a safer location overall. So in case there was an all-in, the gateways, they would not be exposed. They would not go down. So yeah, really interesting. We do have a pylon. Pylon is thrown down across the map, going to be walling off here back at home, and Estrella will not find his way in. Meanwhile, are we going to throw down a Stargate? Are we going to commit? Cybercore is done. Yeah, we're going to be patrolling, just waiting till we bank up those resources. Third pylon is on the way. There it is. It is going to be a proxy Stargate. Again, we're in a prime location for it. This is not all in by any means. Not all in at all from Cyan. This is just a way to get ahead economically, to slip into a mineral line, to get some worker kills, and to expand from here. Back at home, you open up double Stalker into 2 more Stalkers. Likewise, Estrella doing the same. Looking to vie for map control. The Stalkers have been spotted by this probe. Estrella is aware he's moving out, and he's going to respect the ramp, going to respect the high ground. He's going to be lying in wait here, looking to shoot first. Oh, he does. He does get the first volley off, and he forces his way up the ramp, and he will be able to kill one of the Stalkers. Almost. Does force it back. Going to be chasing the rest down, and Estrella, despite being even in units 2v2, he does take a miraculous fight, but he has to respect the reinforcements from Cyan. He has to pull back. Meanwhile, Oracle is on the way from the proxy, and so far that is unscouted. But again, really good control out of Estrella. He will lose one of his Stalkers in the end, but he will trade out very well here. He should, as we trade 2 for 1, but 2 of these Stalkers are still very low, and again, Cyan is being bullied back. is actually in quite a bit of trouble. Does not have any additional stalkers to reinforce. How good is the target firing going to be here as we do split up our shots? Yeah, we should be able to bring down every single one of these stalkers, but at the same time, here comes that Oracle. And what do we have at home to defend? Oh, we have a... It's stuck! The sentry's stuck! No! Sentry's not quite where they need to be. Probes are going down. 4 workers. Shield battery was on top of the ramp. We do recall the stalker back home. Just barely in time to defend. And as a result, Cyan, he does take a slight worker lead. We have a second Oracle on the way, so we can one-shot workers. Hallucination is coming out. But that was just a very unfortunate position for that one sentry. Let him be free, Poppy. Let him be free. As the Oracle comes back in and Estrella is being pulled apart. Does lose only 1 worker. Thankfully, the shield battery is within range. Does keep the rest alive. Oracle tries to come back in. This time, Estrella is ready for it. And we're going to be easing our way in from here. Things are going to be calming down. Again, initially, Estrella had a stronger start in trading stalkers. But alas, did end up losing quite a lot of workers in the process. Did go for Hallucination Scout. Does get eyes on the tech. Does see the Twilight Council. And all the Oracles are still alive. They can technically deal some more damage. Oh. Cyan does get the hell out of there. Preserving them. Interesting choice here out of Estrella. He opened up Robo into a Stargate. The Robo, of course, is very strong defensively. You do gain access to Immortals early on. And with these Immortals, we shouldn't die to any kind of gateway pressure anytime soon. We're going for a Void. Oh my god, Trigger does this. I think I've seen Trigger do this before, and maybe Max Packs as well. We're going for an early early Immortal Void Ray army. We're going to be going for an early push. Okay. Third base is thrown down, but yeah, this is kind of like a mech army. I say early push, never mind. We're actually just gonna be banking up back at home. This is kind of like a mech army here, where we only have we only have 2 gateways to work with. No Twilight Council, no Blink. Just a safety Void Ray and Immortal early on. Cyan likewise is pushing out, getting his own third base, relying on mainly stalkers. Shield battery is about to finish up. Stasis traps being set up as well. Cyan looking to apply a lot of pressure here to this third. But again, with the help of this Void Ray, with the help of these Immortals, we can defend. It's going to be close. It is going to be close. There we go. Additional Stalkers are on the way. Okay, only a single Void Ray. Only 1. Additional Immortals are in production. And with this revelation, we do get eyes on the army. Cyan, he knows. He comes in from behind, but there are Stalkers in position here as well. Really good movement out of Estrella. Able to keep up. And Cyan, he's just posturing. He doesn't have to commit. He's taking a third base. You know, he's saturating his third. Up! Oh my god, just try to go for that Immortal. Doesn't quite get it. Doesn't lose anything, but does take some hull damage. Both players do. As the Oracles, they go back in, but one of them goes down. Only one does make it into the main, where there is no shield battery. Uh-oh. No shield battery in position. 2, 3 probes are going to be going down. 4 probes even. The Oracles have paid for themselves at the same time. Cyan does find his way into the natural. Out positioning Estrella. There is a full wall off, but we can blink over the wall. Void Ray goes down. Estrella having a hard time keeping up. Catching an Immortal. The overcharge. Barely keeps it alive a little bit longer. Soaks some extra volleys. And Cyan blinks down to the low ground. Estrella was ready for it. Was in position. But it's still going to be losing 7 more workers. Ay, ay, ay. After all said and done, looking at the units lost tab, that did cost Cyan a lot of Stalkers. 14 Stalkers went down in that dive. But he killed so many workers. 9 probes, an Immortal, a Void Ray. And Cyan is not stopping. He's just keeping the aggression up. He delays +1. It gets into the mineral line, into the natural. He will get even more probes. Now, Estrella, he's still building up a more robust army. Like, we have more Void Rays on the way. We have a Colossus in production as well. Oh my god. A bit of a kitchen sink composition here from Estrella. A bit of everything. But again, it looks like Estrella, his goal here, kind of like a mech army in a way. We want to turtle. We'll just turtle up Turtle up here on 3 bases. Stabilize, and then eventually push out. Cannon, shield batteries on the way. Up! Big station trap does go off. Catching most of the army even. Meanwhile, Cyan, upon recognizing that of course he has map control and he's containing his opponents, we have a fourth base on the way. Big gateway explosion +2 alongside Templar Archives. Meanwhile, we're going straight to Sky Toss. Oh my, it really is like we're playing mech. Yeah, just Immortal Void Ray into Sky Toss and Colossus, of course. +1 air attack, Fleet Beacon, second Stargate. It's a very unique style, not unheard of, but very unique nonetheless. We very rarely get to see this. Ay, ay, ay. And Cyan is going to be stuck with a low-tech army. Kind of like, I guess, bio-tank against mech, where Cyan is going to want to try to pull apart his opponents, dive in, stop this before it really snowballs out of control. Prism going towards the main. We're just setting up a wall. The SimCity is real. Is there anything in the main base to defend? We have a mothership on the way and a carrier. Let's go. Here we go. We're pushing on forward. A lot of nice volley here from the Colossus. We dive on in, but the juggling is too good. But at the same time, we have the drop into the main. 5 probes go down, and we scout the tech. We scout the Sky Toss. Even depowering that Cyber Core. Now the War Prism is going to get shut down, but +1 is heavily delayed. Oh my god, does this LSA make their way to the natural? More probes are falling. Astray, he's down. No, the misclick. No, not the rocks. Not the rocks, Papi. He's down to 48 workers, 47 probes now. Cyan almost double the worker count, getting a 5th base. Behind this, disruptors are on the way. He's going in towards Phoenixes, which makes sense. He needs every bit of anti-air he can muster. Meanwhile, Estrella just turtling. Now, he did lose a mineral line, did lose 16 probes, so not going to be easy to recover. This is actually a really rough position for Estrella, but if he can stabilize, if he can get back up to a stable economy of around 60. Gotta mistake. Of around 60 workers, get to around 150 army supply. He can survive. He can eventually take a 4th base. For now, he's stuck on 3 bases, and this 3-base setup is really easy to defend, or relatively easy to defend here on Oceanborn. The 4th is much more exposed. We'll see if we can take it. Be dipping on out. Cyan pushing on forward as well, just looking to contain. There it is. The 4th base is cancelled. That's the goal here for Cyan. Contain. Cancel the 4th over and over again. Starve Astray out. The nervous go up. 7 more probes. Bit of a late reaction there from Estrella. Meanwhile, Flux Veins, Void Rays are on the way. Oh my god. 6th base from Cyan. Going up to 6 bases. Mothership comes in, we can recall. And then we go, we're recalling across the map. And this is how we attack. Mothership goes down, it cancels the recall just in time. Oh my god. Estrella, that was his move to break free. I mean, he does force the army back. He did force an overreaction. There it is. Sky Toss now on the way for Cyan. But Estrella's pushing. He creates an opening. 4 Colossi, 3 carriers. We're reinforcing with Void Rays. It's all or nothing. Before Cyan can get into his own Sky Toss. Oh! Never gets off. There's no blink. These Novas, they're brutal. We have 3 more Novas with this army. Ay, ay, ay. Estrella gonna rotate back around, respecting this. He doesn't want to overextend. He doesn't want to get surrounded. He's gonna come across this base. And here we go. Novas once again going to be shaving off some of these units, but Estrella will back off. Mothership comes out. Still no 4th base. Cyan working on Tempest even. is what he wants to go for. He's almost hard countering those carriers. But here we go. We're going to be committing. We activate the prismatic alignments. Void Rays are going ham. Novas, oh my god, do not quite go off. And Astrea, he is annihilating this army. He may take some Novas to the face, but the Colossus, the carriers, the Void Rays. Astrea, he's just going ham. Oh my god, this is disgusting. This army is getting out of control. Here we go. Just gonna keep on pushing. Nothing to slow us down. There are some Tempests. 3 Tempests when we dive on them immediately. They're exposed to the Void Rays. 1 Tempest goes down. We have the production. The Artosis Pylon. Depowering the Stargates and a Robo. Meanwhile, Cyan is going for a big Zealot counterattack. More gateways are going down. We have to commit. Nova goes off. Connection takes down a Colossus. But there's still so much more Colossi remaining. And Astrea, he's doing it. He's pulling it off. He cleans up the army. He may be losing everything. 42 probes go down. Astrea does not have an economy. He's down to 7 workers. But he has an army. He has a hefty army puppy. That is 9 Void Rays, 2 carriers, a couple of Colossi, a couple of Immortals, a couple of Vanilla Stalkers with +1. If you're a Protoss player out there, you may have been inspired, but this is ridiculous. As we break into the main base, likewise, Cyan is trying to commit to a base trade, but we have defensive Void Rays back at home. Zealous will be cleaned up. And Cyan desperately trying to throw down additional gateways. He doesn't want to go down. He doesn't want to tap out. He doesn't want to be made a fool of. He's like, no, you will not. You will not kill me. Not with this. Not with whatever the hell this is. It's too late, Poppy. It's happening. It is happening. As Astrea, he's now moving out with his Void Rays. Gets on top of the natural. Heading towards the only mining bases left here of Cyan. Swarping in Stalkers, a couple of Archons. Whatever he can get. He snaps 2 Void Rays. Good damage. Very nice damage, but at the end of the day, the death ball of Astrea's army is going to keep on pushing. Taking down more gateways, getting on top of the mineral line as well. Now, Cyan does have a decent army here. He's going to try and force his way in. Delsby going forward. He focuses down one of the carriers. He's going for the second, but there's just not enough Stalkers. There's not enough here. The Archon's putting in a lot of work. They take down the Void Rays. Astrea sustaining a lot of losses. Cyan, can he warp in some extra units? He cannot. GG gets called, and Astrea will take game number 1. GG. The hell did we just watch? GG, well played. Astrea with, in a way, Protoss mech. Just mass Robo and Skytel space units. Barely any gateway units at all. Just... And to be fair, like, it's not like Cyan was playing poorly. Like, wind it back. Oh, hold on, to wind it back a little bit here. Remember, Cyan, he was crippling the economy. He was denying the 4th over and over and over again. He was killing workers. He was picking apart whatever he could. You know, Stalkers here and there, Void Rays here and there. Like, Cyan, he was doing well for himself. He was a mass expanding behind it. But, yeah, there was that moment. The moment when the recall from the mothership forced Cyan back home. That created the opening here for Astrea to snowball out of control, to send his amalgamation, his abomination of an army across the map. And GG. GG, well played. That's Astrea for you. It's Astrea. At times, he goes full NA. He's not afraid. He is not afraid. Meanwhile, we're going to be loading into our next game, and I need a moment here to set some things up. Un momento, papi, un momento. I need a moment to get my food. I did order some menu log, and I believe it's here. Oh. got my food puppy. All right, here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the American Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Matcherino Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Estrella. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. Down in the series, it is Cyan. Here we go, and to wind it back a little bit here, when it comes to Cyan's play style, there you could definitely make an argument that okay, to wind it back to game number 1, because I was thinking about it for a while there as I was getting my food. So I did like Cyan's transition into Skytoss, into Tempest. I think that could have been sooner. I do believe that, mate, he threw down his Stargates after he was on 6 spaces. Remember, Cyan, he was mass expanding, and he was kind of teching. He was teching towards disruptors, if you remember. But I do think that there was the opportunity there to tech into that Fleet Beacon and those Stargates and those Tempests a lot sooner. And to be fair, I don't blame Cyan too much, because the reality is, how often do you play against that kind of style, right? It's like, I would imagine that Cyan, he was kind of like, you know, off the dome, just like trying to figure out how to approach Estrella, what to bring forward, and how to deal with his army composition. And he was doing well for himself, don't get me wrong. It was close towards the end, but I do think that there are definitely ways that he could have refined it, and I'm sure it's something that he himself is going to be thinking about as well. It's just, no one plays like that. No one plays, well, in that way like Estrella. So how much practice do you really get against that, and how often do you really need to think about, you know, how to deal with a big robo-based composition like that, as Estrella's going all in. Oh no! He gets, wait, I'm a little bit confused. Okay, Estrella, he's actually setting up pylons in the main base for shield batteries, question mark? What is going on? Estrella putting on a show here, putting on a performance. So he has 2 gateways back at home. He has a 3rd gateway across the map. He has 2 pylons on the high ground. This is for high ground vision. I imagine we're going to be throwing down shield batteries. That's the only thing I can think of. But the probe does go down. No shield batteries, but we do have 3 pylons powering up this gateway. Stalkers are going to be pushing in. Another pylon on the front lines. It looks like Cyan is going to be able to regain control of his main base, but of course Estrella does have high ground vision. Can be a little bit annoying, a little bit of a nuisance. And shield batteries are on the way on the low ground here for Cyan. And we've got a defensive robo as well for Immortals. So far, a good reaction from our red Protoss. So far, all is looking as it should. And shield batteries are finishing. Overcharge is going to be available. Estrella is being forced back for now, but he's just consolidating his forces, bringing everything together. And it looks like the Cybercore is exposed. He's going to be able to snipe it. He won't deny Warp Gate. Warp Gate will finish up in 8 seconds. And shield battery is going to keep it alive as well. Just barely, and Warp Gate will complete. Without it, we would be seeing a very different game. Cybercore goes down. The Adepts come in here to shade past the wall. They shade towards the main base, and it looks like we will not commit. Not yet. And Estrella, he's expanding, but not back at home. He's taking the gold. Gold base is being taken here from Estrella, so his goal here now is to contain. Initially, it may have been to go all in and kill, but now it's just to contain and get away with the gold base. Wild play tonight out of Estrella. Let's go. As here we go, Adepts. This time they will commit. They do slip into the main base. We have 2 Adepts here at the low ground, 3 Adepts going into the main. And of course, 2 Adepts do one-shot workers. Probes are falling. Oh my god, and we just, yeah. We do go back in. Getting 5 male. Just getting 5 workers for now. We're just warping another wave of Adepts. Meanwhile, the gold base is about to finish up, which we will be able to recall towards said gold to saturate it. Oh! Oh my god. There are 2 Immortals. The Immortal count looking quite scary, actually. Estrella has to respect that he has to back off. Stargates on the way? Okay, okay. I mean, Phoenixes are a way to deal with Immortals. They are. Adepts are going to get a couple more workers. 3 more pros go down. We do recall here towards the gold. Immediately saturated. As the proxy is going to be shut down. Immortal diving right on that pylon. Straya, though, still playing with fire. Show us. This should be for... No, not Phoenixes. It's going to be Void Rays. I assumed it would be a Phoenix to not just take down the War Prism, but also to crowd control the Immortals. I assumed that was going to be the goal, but no, never mind. It's going to be Void Rays. And, I mean, to be fair, in a head-to-head fight, Immortals, they don't shoot up. Void Rays, they will shut this down. Here comes the rest of the army of Cyan. Moving out across north. That was, Jesus, 4 shield batteries here on the low ground. Immortals do rock up. They focus down on the shield battery itself. Yeah, but the Void Ray just arrived. Oh, can we get one? Oh, we do not. We do not get the Void Ray. A little bit of miscontrol there out of Astray. He did miss a volley. And can he hunt down that Prism? He's trying to. He's going for it. Does get a couple of hits. Does get a couple of hits in. Bearing in mind that the Cyan did keep his Immortals alive. Oh! As the Immortals are waddling across the map. 3 of them now, Jesus. 3 Immortals. And now Astray is in some trouble. He needs gateways. Yeah, I was about to say that Astray, he has a goal base, but he can't spend his money. He doesn't have the production for it. He needs additional gateways. He's going double Stargate Void Ray. Which can actually work here. Oh no, but the Cybercore is exposed. Oh, taking a lot of hits. If the Cybercore goes down, we cannot warp in any more Adepts or Stalkers. They're only Zealots. A brutal loss. Brutal loss for Astrea. Good force field though, barely cutting off that army, but the Immortals, they do hop over the fence. They do hop over the wall. Prismatic alignment is activated. We do get an Immortal. Good pickup. The Adepts, they commit to the shade. They take down the mineral line. 11 probes go down. But the goal base is still putting in a lot of work. Astrea still has an economy. Now we're down to 2 Immortals. And slow lots of... Yeah, not ideal here for Astrea. One of the Stargates goes down. He's running out of production. Astrea is running out of steam, and it looks like Cyan, he should be able to snowball out of control. He should be able to break this main base and force the ace match. We're down to 3 Void Rays. Gonna be respecting the prismatic alignments. A 4th Void Ray does arrive. Still no... Oh no, Cybercore has been rebuilt. We can warp in Stalkers, but we're going for Zealots instead. Do have an excess of gas here at this point. 4 gateways, Astrea. Can we hold on? Oh my god. There's that prismatic alignment once again going ham. The Stalkers are falling. Really good fight here from Astrea. At the same time, we have found the goal base. Probes are going down. Astrea now in a really rough position. He's going to be pulled apart. He has to protect this gold. No, he doesn't. He's going across the map. We're going for a base trade. Cyan goes for the gold. Meanwhile, Astrea, he goes straight for the main. There we go. We're just going to be recalling back home. Recalling home to safety. We warp in aggressively across the map. We should be able to recall home likewise here for Cyan. There it is. We do go for the recall. Cyan does make it back home, but the Immortals are exposed. 1 Immortal does go down, but we have a surround set up. Up. Oh, 2nd Void Ray falls. GG gets called. Astrea does not have enough, and Cyan will take game number 2, forcing the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Let's go. we have a series. We have a back and forth as we get into this, by the way. A big shout out to Slow Iran in the chat. Welcome, buddy. Welcome. Thank you so much for resubscribing 7 months in a row. Thank you. It's been quite some time. We appreciate the support. We appreciate it. And yeah, we're just still trying to experience or trying to wrap our head around what the hell it is we're watching. It's been quite chaotic, but that's what we're here for. You know, that's why we love PvPs, especially with a player like Estrella. Oh, very wild, very crazy. We love it. And the question becomes, what do we see in Game 3? What kind of map are we going to be loading into as well? I'm sure it's very map dependent what Estrella decides to go for. Let's go. It's going to be Alcyone. Let's go. Of course, a map also with additional goal bases. There's also an entire section of the map that's cut off from the rest of it. So we could try to make use of that. Is this when we finally go for a standard game? No shot. No shot, Bobby. No chance. Give us some more cheese. Give us some more just wild NA builds. That's all we want. That is what we are here for. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Alcyone, we have the American Protoss representing Maturino Esports. It is Estrella. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, the red Protoss representing the Starving Camels, SSLD. It is Cyan. Go. Alright, yeah, it's been a wild series so far. Don't really know what to expect anymore, but I'm ready for it, whatever it happens to be. For now, everything is as it should. Probes are chilling back at home, but we'll keep our eye out. Keep our eye out for what comes next. Estrella just setting his camera locations at his 4 bases. These are the goal bases that I was talking about. There are 2 goal bases here on this map. In the center, a lot easier to scout and a lot easier to actually punish. That's a big difference here compared to Golden Aura. Likewise, we have mineral patches that we can, of course, mine through to gain access to the other half of the map. And these are prime proxy locations for Stargates. We've seen many a Protoss player mine through these mineral patches in the center or mineral patches on the edge and go for a proxy pylon and a Stargate as well. Very common. So I'm sure both players are going to be wary of that. Both players will be checking, making sure everything is as it should be. The probes, they do pass each other. Gateways on the way. Once again, really interesting positioning here from Estrella. Now, because of the building placement of Cyan, he can wall off here at the ramp to deny any kind of a depth shade. Meanwhile, Estrella's setup instead is designed to keep these buildings safe and sound against any kind of aggression. We saw in the last game that the Cybercore was exposed and the Cybercore went down pretty early on. That led to the downfall of Estrella. This time Estrella, of course, he wants to keep the tech safe and sound behind the mineral line. Meanwhile, Estrella throws down a pylon here in between the gateways. He's going for a scout. Does spot the second pylon, so Estrella knows it's a standard opener. Both stalkers have been spotted. Estrella, he's aware of the double stalker opener. And we have our tech of choice. We have Cyan delaying his expansion, going for a Twilight Council. Meanwhile, Estrella also delays his expansion, going for a Stargate. Okay. So, if this was any other player, I would say, okay, Stargate opener, Oracles. It should be Oracles to get ahead economically, to cripple the economy of his opponent, and to get into a macro game. But oh my god, Cyan going for the gold! And Estrella's been making a lot of Void Rays this game. This series. A lot of Void Rays. So I'm uncertain as to whether or not it's going to be an Oracle. With this gold base, Cyan looking to take control of the wheel. Looking to be in the driver's seat this time. He's had enough of reacting. Now Estrella is going to have to be the one to react instead. Estrella, he hasn't spotted the gold yet. Adepts are moving out. Likewise, Cyan pushing across the map with his own stalkers as well. Applying pressure to the natural. These adepts will confirm that the base is missing. The natural should be here and it isn't. Yep, there's that Void Ray once again. Just a safety Void Ray out of Estrella. This Oracle should be moving out and should be confirming that goal base. It should be. As there we go, the Oracle dips in and does spot the Nexus, the Pylon, as well as the probe. Everything has been spotted. And how do we punish this? How do we decide to punish this? But now Stray, he rotates back around. He's gonna, not quite get a probe. He's thinking about it. He will get at least one probe for his troubles. Meanwhile, the rocks are knocked down. Cyan can now defend a little bit more freely as he recalls over towards the gold. Up. Oracle gets another 2 workers. Good amount of damage. Stray, he was expecting the recall. He shut it down. Meanwhile, back at home, we have that one Void Ray. We have Adepts shading in. Get one more probe, 2 more probes before shading away. Really nice damage done here by Estrella. Only 4 workers mining at the gold. And we're not done. The rest of the army is moving out. We went for a robo mortal production. This is looking like game 1. This is looking very similar to game number 1, where Estrella stayed on 2 gateways, went up to, or just committed to just robo Void Ray production into Skytoss, into Colossus. Very similar indeed. Estrella, though, he is going to back off. Doesn't want to overextend. He's aware, of course, that he is down in the overall army count. In the gateway army count. But back at home, he's got a Void Ray. He's got an Immortal. And is he going to just turtle? Oh! Oh my god, Void Ray will fall. Volleys do connect, and Estrella's in a lot of trouble. He barely has anything. He has to defend with a bare minimum. Decent force field. 1 Immortal to hold on. Shield Battery will finish up, and Estrella barely holds. But again, this is a tight hold. Oracle doesn't quite get any damage here. Rotates towards the goal base where there are Stalkers ready. So he has to be very careful with his movement. Comes in from behind, but we still have Stalkers in position. They're everywhere. Blink is done. The first Oracle goes down. And so will the second. Estrella bleeding out too much. Cyan going for a second goal base. Oh my god. Cyan, he wants it all, Papi. Again, he has map control, and he's going to flex that map control. Now, we have a revelation on the Stalkers. Estrella, he sees the rocks falling. He can assume, but he doesn't quite know what's going on. As Cyan, with all this gold minerals, he's going for charge. He's going to be going for mass charge. Just before that even happens, we dive on top of the Immortals. We get 1. It took a lot, though. It took a lot to bring down 1 Immortal. That was 3 volleys. Estrella will hold. But he doesn't know what Cyan is getting away with. You can't keep getting away with it. 2 gold bases. Hero, is that you? Hero does this as well. Now we dive in once again. Another Immortal goes down. Out of range of the shield batteries. Good juggling here out of Estrella, though. Oh my god. But there's still so many Stalkers. Oh. And we take down the Prism. The Stalker. Boys are being pulled. Estrella, he is hurting. Hurting bad. And we will clean everything up here on the low ground. Even if it costs us all of these Stalkers, it's going to be worth it in the end. As I say that, we do have Estrella doing some counter damage, but he is out of an army. That's it. He has nothing left. He has 2 Adepts to his name. That's all he has remaining here, and Cyan is snowballing out of control. This is Estrella's army, and now he comes across the goal base. He's now aware of what's been happening. But it's too little too late. Estrella, he's lost control of his own natural. The Adepts are putting in a lot of work. But they do get cleaned up in the end. More probes are going to be falling. Estrella, GG gets called. He runs out of steam, down to 22 workers. And Cyan will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Cyan. My condolences to Australia, but also big shout out to Australia as well, because this was a very entertaining series and yeah, very difficult to keep track of. Australia just having a very wild style. I appreciate that Cyan was also willing to break the norms and also be hyper aggressive as well in the ace match to turn the tables on Australia. GG, well played. Congratulations. Congratulations to Cyan. My condolences to Australia as he is going to be knocked out. But did he really reveal too much here? I mean, you know, he was just showing off some crazy builds, some builds that I'm sure he's like working on, he's building up, and of course willing to throw into a best of series. I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of that later on in ESL Masters Americas, but GG nonetheless. Well played. And Cyan will advance on into the next round where he has his next opponent ready and waiting. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have a lot to go over. Let's quickly catch on up. From the top. Gumiho facing off against Hero as Hero takes down Oliveira 2-1. Very impressive in a PVT. And now Hero's up against Gumiho in the upper quarterfinals. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Björn touring Ryung. We have Solar touring DRG. And Björn versus Solar, oh my god, is starting up, is mid-series as well, a very high-profile TVZ. Meanwhile, our series was the longest. I just realized our first round match was the longest. Cyan advances on to face off against Dark, and we will follow him. We will be following Cyan into Dark. And I'm just going to let him know that we will follow him into that next series. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have a Classic taking down Firefly 2-1. Went to the ace match. Big shout out to Firefly. And Cure takes down Hyperion 2-0. Classic versus Cure currently ongoing. So it looks like all the first round matches have concluded. Now that ours has concluded as well. And now we have our second round, the quarterfinals, all starting up. And as I mentioned, we are covering Dark versus Cyan into the lower semis. I believe Wardy was casting Hero versus Oliveira into Gumiho versus Hero. So Wardy has the upper half of the bracket, basically. We have the lower half, Wardy has the upper. That's how we've kind of split up. And eventually we will join forces towards the semis and the finals. We will all come together. But until then, we are going to try and cover as much as we can. Try to cover as much as we can, and until then we are going to be going on a short break. I'm going to quickly eat some food. I have some takoyaki ba. Let's go. I'm going to quickly try and get something to eat so I don't pass out in the middle of the broadcast. I'm starving. And when we return, we'll have Dark versus Cyan. Oh, let's go. We'll see you soon. Just catching up. Hope we can get the Beyond versus Solar match. Beyond versus Solar does look really good. It does look amazing. Don't get me wrong. But I believe they've already started and we can't quite catch them. Not any longer. Unfortunately. But yeah, we kind of know where we're going. That's where we are headed. Till then, we're going to be going on a short break. And we'll see you guys soon. In a couple of minutes. Oh god, I was dying. Oh god, we're back. Okay. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second match of the night. Just needed a little bit of extra time here to get our readers going and to get our players ready for this. Raring and ready to go, I should say. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kai-Z Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan. Here we go. Sorry, I was just I probably shouldn't have eaten. So I was quickly grabbing some. Oh my god! I was quickly grabbing some food. I ordered some spicy Korean fried chicken, and it probably isn't the best thing to eat while I'm casting because, you know, it's spicy, but it's nice, it's good. it's good food, papi. Just need to make sure my throat is good for this. And for Dark, he's gonna be going for a proxy hatchery, so this is just a delay. This is just to disrupt the economy here, delay the expansion of Cyan as much as possible. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark going for a hatchery of his own, into a gas, into a spawning pool. So kind of a delayed hatchery here from Dark, but overall an economic build. He's not going all in by any means. This is again just to delay the expansion, just to disrupt the economy, to be a nuisance here with Cyan. Even forces out 2 zealots, forces out a second gateway, a full wall off, what would soon be a full wall off with the units. And this is going to give Dark quite an edge here in the early game, at least potentially an edge. There's always a chance that Cyan could try to catch his opponent off guard. As we do force a cancel on the hatchery, it does not complete. Up! And we should not get another hatchery up and running. There we go. Expansion is finally going to be thrown down, but very delayed. And this is what I was referring to. Now we have potential. Cyan, he's moving out with 2 zealots and with 2 adepts. Drone tries to come back in, but last will be denied. And again, we have an abundance of units available here for Cyan. Dark, what does he have at home to defend? We have a queen, a couple of lings are on the way as well. It's going to be a tight hold, and Cyan, he's going to be looking for some drone kills. He's looking for some economic damage. Here we go. We are rocking up. Oh! So far, the drones are going to be kept alive. Looks like one of them may be focused now. We do commit to the shade into the main base. 1, 2 drones will fall. Good damage here from Cyan, but the zealots likewise being cleaned up. They take down another drone. Almost a queen. 4 workers here for 1 adept and 2 zealots. Not too bad. And you know what? More adepts have arrived. Cyan, he throws down a proxy gateway within range of a Dark's Overlord, so he knows. Oh, and he takes down a queen. Cyan, he wants to try to snowball out of control. Link speed still not quite done. Cyan forced to back off. Meanwhile, back at home, we had a gas steal. You love to see it. That's a 4th gateway on the way. So 4 gateways on 2 bases. Quite aggressive here from Cyan. The Lings are going to surround her. And we haven't quite warped in. Dark catching this army off guard. Getting another wave of adepts. Only 3 left. Gonna have to go for another warp in. Back at home, we warp in a Stalker defensively back at home. We do have a wall for now. And Cyan is still trying to keep the pressure up. He's still trying to cripple the economy here of Dark. Of course, this position quite vulnerable. Cyan, he doesn't want to lose this gateway and force it to be depowered. Waiting for another warp in. Likewise, Dark's just making more links back at home. He's not droning. Mass links here instead. As Dark attempts to take a 3rd base here towards the linear location. A very exposed 3rd, very difficult to hold on to. Cyan is heading this direction. As he moves out, Dark is moving in, diving on that pylon, depowering this gateway. But do we care? Does Cyan care? As we do get a depower, we're going to keep on pushing, but there are just so many lings available. How many? We have 38 lings! Oh my god. We could try to force a cancel here. Really good positioning for these adepts. Very nicely done here by Cyan. The Lings, they have to push on forward, and this will not be a good trade for Dark. He is working his way through. He gets one Stalker, gets the second. Forces the Shade, and Dark will hold on to that base. Third base is saved. The gas geyser eventually will fall as well, as the game will settle from here. We're easing into it, but we've had a wild start to the game. Dark is pretty far behind. His drone count is in the gutter at the moment. It's not looking too good. Dark has a lot of droning. He's got a lot of droning to do to catch up. Lings, they come in for another engagement, but this is not a good position for Dark once again. He gets 2 adepts for so many Lings. I'm afraid to look. 57 Lings have gone down. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark, he's just droning as hard as he can. Behind this Cyan, his tech of choice is going to be a Robo, a delayed Twilight Council, rushing into +1. Interesting. So with a delayed Twilight Council, this could be for a more tech-heavy composition to go into a third base, but no, never mind. We're just shading across the map. Cyan, he wants to keep the pressure on. He doesn't want Dark to stabilize. I don't blame him. Dark, he's a terrifying player. He wants to kick him while he's down. Dark is still down. Roaches are coming out just in time. War Prism has arrived, and Cyan is going straight for the main. Straight for the main base. +1 about to kick in. Still a couple seconds off. Charge behind this. Okay. Do have my attention. War Prism slips into the main base. There are queens though. Yeah, they focus down the War Prism. Lings arrive as well. While the adepts, they threaten the third base, but they don't quite get any damage done. And Dark, he is slowly stabilizing. Cyan finally throws down the third base. Very delayed third. Oh, as he commits to the shade and we get a full surround. Darky catches the adepts, cleans them up. And now Darky has map control. He can actually go for a big counterattack. This third base, Cyan, can he hold on to it? He's getting in position. He has his Immortal. He has his sentries. Sorry, I'm just sneezing. It's blowing my nose. But he will be able to hold on. Again, especially with these sentries, we have plenty of force fields available. We're building up our Immortal count. We got +2 on the way. Charge as well. And Dark is confirming this. He just wants to make sure that there's no Sky Toss transition or double Robo Colossus. Dark just trying to get a read on what is going on. But this is just a really quirky game overall. Just very quirky. Very out of the norm. Just because of the openers. And Dark, he's going to be joining up to 52. He's going to be cutting saturation here. Even sub 3-base saturation, actually. He's moving across the map with nothing but Ling, Roach, Ravager. His goal to break the third. Now, we do have a lot of Immortals. We have a lot of Sentries as well. But we have Ravagers to deal with that. This base can still be broken. It's not going to be easy, but possible. There we go. We're luring Cyan out into the open. A lot of force fields are being spent here as a result, and we're breaking through the Zelts. We're getting on top of the sentries. Force fields are falling one after the other, and Cyan, he just doesn't have enough here. He doesn't have enough to really protect this. I mean, good juggling, to be fair. Really good juggling out of Cyan, saving those Immortals. Dark is being forced back. Didn't quite get on top of those Immortals the way he wanted to. And he's droning. Oh my god. Dark is droning. He throws down a Hydrogen. He accepts defeat here. I say defeat. He accepts that he cannot break the space. He accepts that he cannot kill Cyan. He's not going to try and die trying. He's going to transition out of this. Head into Hydras. Head into Lurkers. He does arrive once again, looking at time on this army, forcing out a lot of force fields once again. We are running out of force fields. This time we do get on top of the sentries. Good trade from Dark. 3, 4 sentries going down. An Immortal as well. Dark, once again, he doesn't quite have enough to break this position, but this was well worth it for Dark. He almost resets the sentry count. Only 2 are left. 6 sentries went down. And at the same time, Hydras. Hydras are coming out. We're getting our 4th base up and running. We're fully saturated on 3. We're at 60 workers. Getting our gases going. And yeah, Darky's just working on that next step. Cyan is as well. Is working on +3 and even working on a Templar Archives for Storm. These are good things, but the reality is that Dark should be hitting first. Dark has momentum going his way. He should be moving out in a couple of moments, actually. And Cyan, he's trying to defend here with almost a purely Immortal-based army. He has 6 Immortals. That's that. Oh, God. That's a lot of Immortals, Papi. That's a lot of Immortals. Not like this. Here we go. We're going for a drop on the right-hand side. Dark peeling off an army here, looking to deny any kind of 4th base. And Dark, I'm surprised we're not working towards an infestation bit and towards a lurker den. He's just staying on Roach Hydra for now. Very interesting composition. Storm isn't done yet, but that's a lot of High Templar. That's a lot of potential for Storm. There we go, just before it finishes. Oh my god. Files will connect. Storm still needs a couple of seconds. The roaches are coming from behind. We get the full surround. This time there is no War Prism. There is no escape. The storms are thrown down. Just barely in time. And Cyan holds. Oh my god, those storms were insane. It's almost purely Immortal once again, but we're breaking through. And now Cyan has momentum. Dark just threw away a lot of his army. He didn't just throw away roaches, he threw away a lot of Hydras as well. That was quite an expensive loss for Dark, and Cyan, he maintains his army. I think he's lost 1 Immortal this game, 2 Immortals. He's lost 2 Immortals this game. All the others, they've been preserved over time. We have more High Templar for more storms. Cyan, he's been trading so well. He has a 4th on the way. He does need a 4th, to be fair. It's something that he has been denied. But when it comes to these fights, Dark has been very wasteful. And he's just now getting a good economy. That's the problem here, is that Dark, his economy has been very subpar. So these losses, they've been costly. You know, they take quite a lot here to replenish. But now we're up to 70 workers. Much more stable here this time for Dark. +1 carapace on the way. I believe still no infestation, but there it is. Finally, it's thrown down a very late pit. And now Cyan is pushing out. Show us the storms. Oh my god, and they're looking pretty good. 2 good storms to start things off. The other, more of a zoning storm here on the right-hand side. Just doing what they can. Cyan does have to be very careful with how he engages. More High Templar on the way. Charge us to buffer. There's another run on the right-hand side. The Hydra's going for their own counterattack. Likewise, so is Cyan. Pushing in. Do we recall back home? That is the question. Or do we commit to a base trade? Hatchery will fall. It looks like we do want to retreat. We do want to try to make it back home. But Dark, he beats us there. He's already at the 3rd base. His Nexus is going to fall, and Cyan is not going to be able to save anything. He wants to try to engage with the Hydras, and he can maybe take a fight, but Dark, he's just get the hell out of here. Gets 14 kills, 16 probe kills. Storm catches the tail end of the army. Once again, not the best storms available. Up! Cyan just trying to be a little bit cheeky, gets caught out. And at this point, Cyan's pretty all in. Cyan, his economy, it's non-existent. He's down to 39 workers. He's been a little bit wasteful with these storms as well. I do feel he still has a couple left. He still does have a couple of storms remaining. And this army is still quite beefy. And we ignore the hatchery, we just keep on pushing. But Cyan, he's running out of steam, running out of forces. Good storms though. Good storms, but here we go. The Hydras, they collapse on this army. There's no more High Templar left. The Immortals fall, the Archons as well, and Dark is going to be looking to take game number 1. It wasn't easy. It was not an easy game, but GG. And Dark will take a lead in this series. GG, well played. And Cyan making him work for it. That was not an easy game for Dark. Time and time again, Dark, he tried to go for these committed pushes and kill Cyan over and over again. But Cyan, he weathered the storm. He was looking pretty good. Looking pretty damn good. He was actually up in army supply towards the end as well. Just unfortunately was forced into a base trade. He lost his 3rd base. There was no turning back. We had to commit. And over time, Dark was able to muster up a large enough army to surround, to clean him up. And now we get into game number 2. Número 2. Did you have cake for your birthday? I did not. I did not. I did not have cake. I didn't really have time. I think I mentioned this before, but so for my birthday, I was casting until from the previous day until like 7 a.m. in the morning. We can talk about it later. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and sporting in the top left-hand corner of Hardlead. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming up in this series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Chinese Protoss. Not looking too bad in the last game. Definitely having a fight in him. Representing the Starving Camels, SSLT, it is Cyan. Here we go. And so far this time, the openers are a lot more standard. This time, Dark is going for a hatch first. Going to be denied the natural and forced to take one of the 3rd base locations instead. Likewise, Cyan going for a gate expand. So this time everything is looking normal, but we're good. But yeah, I started casting the day before. I think I finished casting at 7 a.m. And then we went to bed. We went to bed, Papi, and then we woke up, and then we casted some more. All the casting, Papi, all the casting. I think it was the night before. Yeah, we were casting WTL, and we stayed up a little bit longer into ESL Masters, and then we had our ESL Masters cast as well. So just veg and cast over the weekend. I think I made a tweet about it. I made a tweet like it was a really bad time to have a birthday just because it's ESL Masters winter. It's the ESL Masters like winter month. So we're quite busy with casting, quite busy with work. So yeah, no cake. Maybe tomorrow. we'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Oh. As we are getting into this, what I did have though, for my birthday, I did have ceviche. Which is of course my favorite Peruvian dish. Did a ceviche for my birthday for dinner. It was good. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Ceviche and Inca Cola. Ah, it's all you need, papi. All you need. And yeah, so far here we go. We're just getting into our openers. We have a 3rd hatchery on the way. Going to be joining up our natural. Nothing too out of the ordinary. It's important to point this out just because game 1 was very aggressive. You know, we had Dark going for the proxy hatch, going for the hatch block, I should mention, going for the gas seal, and really forcing an awkward game. And yeah, game 1 was very awkward. It was very offbeat and off balance. But here we're getting into something more standard, and I'm sure Cyan is going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in game number 2. Going to be going for a Void Ray first. Now the Void Ray is going to be hunting down these Overlords. There are a couple of Overlords out exposed on the map that we could go for. Obviously there's one here at home, but Cyan, he is indeed rallied it to this Overlord to hunt it down and to hide the follow-up. And the follow-up could be a couple of different things. It could be into an Oracle, into a third base, into a standard game. It is true. There it is. Oracle's on the way. We could even go for a Twilight Council without a Forge, and that would be Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts is a common follow-up here after denying the scouting. We could throw down a Fleet Beacon and the Stargate for double Stargate production. But on hard lead, that's ill-advised. This map has a very short rush distance. It is very common to all-in as a Zerg player on this map, so being too greedy is not really the best thing to try and do here on hard lead. Third base is being taken. There is that Twilight Council, and I don't see a Forge. Oh, no, there we go. I didn't see a Forge. Now I do. Now we do. So a little bit disjointed, but it's on the way nonetheless. Should be for +1 and either charge or blink. We'll see which one we go for as the Oracles are moving across the map. Well, relatively early lair though. That's a 4-minute 30 lair timing here with the Roach Warren. But we aren't going for an Evo Chamber. Makes sense. So no plus on melee. Just gonna be Roaches. Just gonna be Roaches from Dark. Likewise, Ling's going to be moving out, getting an eye on any kind of fresh expansion. Getting an eye on what Cyan is up to. So Lings are forced back. Void Ray trying to find a way into the main, but Queens are in position. Dark is ready for it. There's that Evo Chamber on the way. The Evo Chamber is a little bit late, but I mean, I say that's just because we're not going for a Ling heavy composition. It is mainly Roaches, mainly Roach Ravager, into, I imagine, Hydras later on. That's why the Evo Chamber is a little bit later than normal. We do have our first wave of Roaches coming in just to be safe. Gas is being taken, fully saturated here on 3 bases. We are going for melee, actually. Okay. Interesting. We are still going for plus on melee. That means this is going to be Ling Roach Ravager. This can become Ling Bane Roach Ravager as well, if we do go for the Baneling Nest. It has fallen out of fashion a little bit just because of the nerf to the Baneling, just because they're no longer one-shot workers. And, oh, actually, Dark, I was wondering, he took all of his gases and he didn't start Roach Speed, so I was very curious, I was very concerned. I was like, wait, what are we doing? Well, now I know what we're doing. We're going for Mutas. Namutas, Namutas. Dark, he loves Mutas in ZVP. Whenever he can get away with it, he will go for Mutas in this matchup, wherever possible. Void Rays on the 4th base. Meanwhile, back at home, and we've been focusing a lot on Dark. Cyan, he's just getting into a standard build. His tech of choice was Charge, not Blink. So Charge Lot should be Charge Lot Archon. Double Robos on the way. This is a good thing for Dark. Cyan is being very tech heavy. He's going double Robo, 4th base, should be going into a Robotics Bay after this, into either double Colossus or double Disruptor production. Because of all this, Cyan isn't pushing soon. Cyan, he's not pushing anytime soon. There's no Warp Prism, there's no way to reinforce. Zealots are moving out to harass, yes, but there is no big committed attack, which means Dark is getting away with the Spire. There's nothing to really threaten Dark. Spire is in production, 8 Mutas on the way. That is more than enough to one-shot workers. And behind this, Dark is working on Roach Speed. So he's making Mutas only to harass, and oh my god, this base takes a lot of hits. Oh. Getting very low. Shen's Fuse will barely keep it alive. Just barely. But again, the Mutas, they are just designed to cripple the economy. They chase down the Void Ray as well. Oh, as it will not get a kill on that hatchery. Immediately, Phoenixes are on the way. Phoenixes, cannons. Dark, he was forced to reveal himself a little bit early. A little bit premature over reveal because of the Void Ray. So Cyan, he has time to react. Stalkers are warping in, but probes are still falling. Oh my god. Ah, something was in my throat. But probes, they're still falling. 10, oh my god. 10, 11 workers going to be going down. 13, oh, we're not stopping. We are not stopping. 15, 16 probes. 7, 20? Can we get up to 20, Papi? 17. 17 for now. An entire mineral line goes down. And this was only for 8 mutas. Behind this, Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravagers coming out with +2 melee, bailing speed on the way. Dark is getting ready to just roll over this this fourth base location. Got a lot of charge lots, so we have some immortals. No bay. Just straight up immortal production, and here we go. Dark, he wants it, Papi. Bailing speed just now kicks in. Force fields are okay, but there's only 1 sentry. Not enough force fields to throw down. The Bailings, they run past the army, they go straight for the charge lots, they take them down instantly. And this fourth base is being broken. 16 more probes go down. We may not get the Nexus, but we did trade damn well here against everything else. The Immortals doing what they can. The overcharge, even trying to keep everything alive, but it is not enough. The Nexus will fall. Meanwhile, the mutas are still not cleaned up. Baileys are rolling in. No! The Baileys, they crash in 33 probes. Oh my god. As Cyan is just being pulled apart, the mutas did create an opening. They allowed Dark to snowball out of control. The army was pulled apart, the economy was crippled, and then Dark would come in with his ground force as well. This is the Dark we know and love. Behind this, no more mutas. We're getting into Hydras, into Lunker play eventually. Cyan, at this point, he may just be all in. Yep. He cannot turn around. He cannot save his base. It's all or nothing for Cyan. He's just sending everything across up. It's his only chance. And even then, it's a slim one because Dark is maxed. He is maxed out. Cyan moving across the map, getting on top of one of these bases, getting on top of the third. Meanwhile, Dark, he busts into the natural and the third base. He's coming back home. He knows it is safe to do so. As he races back home and up. And gets an immortal. Gets an immortal in the end. And yeah, there's just not enough here. This army is looking so fragile. So fragile to us around. The force field doing what they can, but Dark, he collapses on this army. There's nothing left. GG gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. A very strong game there out of Dark. He was in control almost the entirety of that game. Game 1 was more back and forth. Game 1 was more dynamic between both Dark and Cyan, and there were moments where Cyan almost won. Here in game 2, Dark, he was in control here. Cyan was being a little bit tech heavy, being a little bit greedy. Dark took note of that, went for the Spire, got away with the mutas, and that eventually snowballed into just pulling apart his opponent and picking away at the economy, the army, the bases, bit of everything. GG. GG, well played, and congratulations to Dark because he does advance on. My condolences to Cyan. He did well for himself, did very well for himself, taking down Estrella earlier, and even in game 1 against Dark, Cyan did not look bad at all. But with that, Dark advances on, and we have some catching up to do. We have a lot of catching up to do. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves as we figure out where we are and where we want to go. Okay, from the top. Gumiho versus Hero. Gumiho versus Hero still ongoing, by the way, apparently. Still ongoing in that TVP. We scroll down a little bit further. We have Bjorn taking down Solar 2-0. A very strong performance there out of Bjorn. Solar does tap out in the quarterfinals, and Bjorn is waiting for the winner of Gumiho and Hero. Meanwhile, scrolling down a little bit further, we have our own series, Dark advancing onto the semis over Cyan, and we have Classic versus Cure. I believe Classic versus Cure is being casted by... Yes, it's being casted by Into the Inu, and I think Wardy. I think Wardy hopped over from the upper portion to the lower portion of the bracket. Let me just double check. Let me just double check, and Yes. So Wardy, he's actually in Classic versus Cure. What game are they in? Am I blind? I'm looking at Wardy's stream and he doesn't have scores on screen. Huh. I'll check out into the E-News channel instead. He's using a different UI. Okay, the ace match. They're tied up 1-1. They're in the ace match, which means once they wrap up, it's going to be Dark versus either Classic or Cure. We will not jump in mid-series into Classic versus Cure because we're in Game 3. But we know where we want to go. We know what is coming up next. We could try to catch either Gumiho, Hero, or Byan. That is true. That is possible. We could try to catch them. But personally, I do like kind of following a player and following a storyline through the tournament. And again, we were following Cyan into Dark, and now Dark into the lower semis and into the finals. At least I would hope so. So Astray into Cyan, Cyan into Dark, Dark into his next opponent. So that is where we are headed next. That is our road to those finals. So it's either going to be a TVZ or a TVP. One or the other. And yeah. With that, we have some waiting to do, which means we're going to be going on a short break. This time, we have some duct tapes. We have some duct tapes ready for you from times gone by. So enjoy them. And again, hope everyone is enjoying this more chill day of StarCraft. We're nearing the end of the broadcast. We have almost basically 2 series left. We're going to be casting the lower semis, and then most likely the finals after that. We might be able to catch the upper semis. That's possible, and if we can, we'll do it 100%. We'll cast both semis if possible, but we'll cover at least one. So either 3 series left or 2 series left. And again, it is a more chill day of StarCraft. No ESL Masters Winter tonight because of the ESL Open Cups. It's ESL Asia into Europe into Americas, and we will be casting Americas tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we will be on it. But yeah, thankfully this also means that I can sleep a little bit earlier today. I probably shouldn't, but I actually haven't slept today. I tried. I tried to sleep, but I just couldn't. I slept 2 hours. I slept 2 hours just before I went live on my personal channel where I was laddering. I slept 2 hours, did ladder stream. Now we're here, and yeah, I'll veg after this. So don't you worry. So we're gonna be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have a semifinals for you. See you then. And again, for those wondering who may be tuning in for the first time and aren't too familiar with these players, Shelby, he is a pretty good Peruvian player. He's a streamer as well. He's streaming his POV.
Dios mío. Men, ¿qué me quiere pushar con 4 Belin, 3 mutas? ¡Corre, Forest! No lo dejen ir. ¡Ah! ¡No! ¡Oh! ¡Te pasaste de ver!
But he also looks after the convenience store when his parents aren't around. So he's currently competing, playing, and also looking after the store, and he needs to pause whenever there's a customer.
What I want to know is how far does he have to go? You know, like, is it like downstairs,
So,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I think it's a flight of stairs. He has to get down a flight of stairs.
you're like a customer. You're like in the, waiting. You know, ding, and then you're. He's like, he's like straight up running down.
every now and then, it's like you hear him fall.
Waiting for him to like trip and fall. But I agree. He needs to like set up a camera like at the counter.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like. And then he runs back. Does he like wait for the customer to leave, or is like after he does the money exchange, he just books it up?
For those wondering, I did wake up like 20 minutes before the broadcast, and then took 10 minutes to set up the stream, and then just went and I quickly grabbed some water, to wake up.
Do I need to like Uber Eats you some breakfast?
Oh, no, because then I would have to leave the cast and go get the food.
Your door's not that far, right? Like, listen, if
Yaku?
Shelby can go attend his goddamn store while he plays the tournament, you can probably go pick up some food at your front door, you know, while you're casting. It's totally fine, dude.
Oh god, fucking Shelby, man. I love him so much. I wish he was here. He was here. Die as well. Ooh, can you finish? Can you finish?
What's your shot?
Oh,
Oh, that's so BM.
it's 99% done.
That's so mean.
Ah, that's
That's not good. No, just leave it. Go in.
It's so
Nina,
close.
just go in. Just leave it alone.
No, she wants
guys-
that. The SCV's coming. It's coming.
No, the guy's already down. You can't get on the floor.
Ah, the SCV's he's gonna finish it. He's gonna finish. He did it.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
Right?
Oh my god. It's alive. He saved it.
Okay, question. Did he spend more minerals sending SCVs down to fix it and repair, or could he have saved money if he just canceled and remade?
Yes. Nah, he would have saved money if he just canceled and remade.
Should we go in Spanish this one?
Do it. Do it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
All right, I don't know if I can do this. All right, let's try. Aquí en esta esquina de la mapa es un Terran player. Es rojo, es rojo. Y a la izquierda,
Ooh.
I think, I don't know my directions
Yeah.
perfectly, but I believe it's izquierda.
Yeah.
A la izquierda, este jugador es verde y es un Terran y es el final map. Si puede ganar, yo creo. Es Boga.
¿Y juntos qué son?
Y juntos son los antimancos. We did it. We did it.
That was better than what I could have done.
It was better than what I expected.
En el en el derecho, izquierda, derecho. Aquí en la mapa, en la esquina tenemos el azul Terran, tenemos Marea y su what's teammate? Su
I don't know.
su compadre, su amigo, su enamorada, no sé qué es, pero aquí tenemos el Protoss, es azul, es Derki y juntos son el equipo, los lamas.
Los llamas. How do you say llama in Spanish?
Lama, yeah, maybe. I don't
Right?
know.
Just llama?
Yeah.
I don't know either. I completely skipped trying to go for north or south. That was gonna be an impossible one for me.
And coming to you live from the Plaga de Cuto
Porto Beach on the Isles of Pine from the Lagoy part of Bintan Island from Karagandi in Kazakhstan. We are here with the 29th edition of ESL Pro Tour Open Cup Asia Division. I am your host Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today I have La Pastora, que es allergica a la pasta. El jugador del bolos con todos los cajolers. Wait. I have El Narado que saca todos los caimanes himself, Light_VIP. How are you doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? We're back.
Playing.
Good. The entire time I was like, why can't I add you? Like, I'm looking for you in the list, and this fucking guy.
Well, here we are in our. Oh my god, it's not a ZVZ.
Oh god.
Dios mío, gracias. We have our Red Zerg player from DHZ.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed those duct tapes from times gone by, as we have returned with our semi-finals. We have some updates for you. And of course, the big one is that Cure did take down Classic 2-1 and did advance on to the semi-finals to face off against this very opponent. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have representing his brand new team, Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. Cure now finally representing his new team. He has been teamless for quite a number of months, but It's really cool to see him repping a team once again, and he has been on fire recently. Cure looking to be one of the best Terrans in the world in the current era of StarCraft, and he's going to be going for a 2-Rax opener. Okay, now we have seen Cure dip back into this. Last season, we saw this almost every game from Cure. Nowadays, he mixes it up. He's very willing to go for these Cyclone-based openers instead, but here we see a 2-Rax. For those wondering, 2-Rax means we make three Reapers. 3 Reapers will be coming out. The first 2 and then another behind this, looking to contain and delay the third base for as long as possible. For as long as we can. Oh, and we'll see if we can pull this off. Meanwhile, if Dark tries to slip out an early third, then Cure can double down on additional Reaper production and force a cancel. Likewise, Cure should be transitioning out of this into a 2-1-1. It could be a 3cc 2-1-1, could be a 4-Rax, could be a 3-Rax. There's a lot available here for Cure. As the first Reaper is moving out. Back at home, Dark going for a hatch gas pull, standard opener, nothing too crazy. We're pulling out of gas once we get 100 for link speed, and we do have 2 queens on the way. Third base soon to be taken. We have the natural on the way from Cure, and Cure does miss the drone. He doesn't see it. He doesn't know. Does not see that third base, not yet. As Cure's gonna be dancing with these lings. Back and forth so far, no dead lings yet. Dark is able to keep up. He throws down his hatchery on locations. Overlord does confirm the opener as well. And we are going for our add-ons. But Cure, he does get eyes on this third base. He is not actually going to be delaying his add-ons though. He's still going for the reactor. Going for the reactor. Behind this, the Lings, they try to go for a counterattack. They're trying to catch some reinforcements. But last they will not. Now, Cure, he does make a 4th Reaper. Bear that in mind. So again, the goal here is to cancel this hatchery. Dark trying to be a little bit greedy by going for it, but especially with the DPS of this 4th Reaper, we should be able to focus this down. Oh, it's going to be close, though. Up. It is going to be close. The Queens are coming in. Queens are going to try to engage at the same time. The Lings go for a big counterattack. There's nothing at home to defend. The reactor is exposed. So far, good KDA charges. But there's a cancel and the kill on the drone. Very nicely done here by Cure. Solid cancel on that base. Behind this Cure, he's stable back at home. The wall did force some lost mining time because of these SCVs, but it is looking solid. And Cure can race back home. Meanwhile, Dark has to lick his wounds back at home, retake that third base and drone. He has a decent amount of Lings, but the Reapers are already behind the wall. They go for the Tech Lab. Up! And they do get a surround. That's a cancel on Stim. Big pickoff. Massive pickoff here for Dark. Very nicely done. Unfortunately, Cure did not opt to repair it. Could not keep it alive. Behind this is going to be 3cc. Going to be a 3cc 2-1-1. We're going for the add-on swap. I mentioned before that Cure has been very fond of Cyclone-based openers, and this is one of them. Where he goes for the add-on swap, delays Marine production, and goes for Cyclones instead. Now, the reason for this isn't for mass Cyclone. Don't get this twisted. You know, this isn't to go into mech or anything like that. This is just for map control. This is just to shut down Overlords. To hunt down Overlords, apply pressure to Queens. Again, the Cyclone is quite a useful unit utility-wise and does add some complexity to your army as well. There it is, Cyclones have arrived, and now we can chase this back. The lock-ons are real. Overlord will fall. And again, only 2 Cyclones. Behind this, ooh, interesting. Okay, we have a very different variation. So it is still a 3cc 2-1-1 in a way, but with some slight differences. There's no add-on swap for the medevac, for the starport to get into double medevac production. So medevac production is going to be delayed, but we make up for that with an armory and Hellions. It's going to be a Hellbat push. Hellbats with Marines and Cyclones as well, and a handful of medevacs. Not too many medevacs, but medevacs nonetheless. Meanwhile, Dark, I mean, it's Dark we're talking about, so he is opening up Roach. He's not going Ling Main. Dark, he's very fond of Roaches, and these Roaches are going to be key here to defend. Very fortunate that Dark haven't to be taking in this direction. Dark, he doesn't go Roach every game, but most of the time, he does. As a Cure, he's getting his third up and running. Hellbats are morphed in. And Cure actually isn't pushing. Interesting choice here. Okay. So Cure, he had the option. He had the option to move out if he wanted to. But alas, he is just going to be moving out with this one drop. Clearing up a lot of creep. Almost every single active tumor. Oh my god. Very nicely done here by Cure. Meanwhile, behind this, Dark is going for an infestation pit. Pretty fast infestation pit, actually. He can go into fast infestors as a result. Rely on those neurals. Meanwhile, Cure, he is stable back at home. He has the Hellbats to defend, the Cyclones as well. Moving out with a second double drop. So he's got his first here in the center, the first single drop. Once again, going for tumors. We have the double drop that can actually rotate towards the fourth base. Can threaten this mineral line. Dark has to be careful. Has to be wary. Doesn't have too much vision here towards the south. Curie's got options. He can either go straight for the main base or you can go for the fourth. And there we go. He's boosting into the main. Boosting right on in. There is one singular queen in position. The rest of the Ling, Roach, the entire army coming back to defend. Cure, he will lose 3 Marines for 1 queen. A pretty good trade overall. And again, it creates an opening. Clear out more creep. We deny the 5th base. Nice moves from Cure. Back at home, he's building up his forces. We have tanks, cyclones, 4th CC thrown out. So this is not a 3-base all-in. Gases have been taken. Second factories on the way. Cure is getting into a longer macro game. Here come the infestors. Up! Not quite connecting. We were wondering what the infestation bit was going to be for. We did make 1 safety infestor. Only 1. Now, there is a recent change to the infestor, and when it's built, it does have enough energy for a fungal. So it is a little bit more useful, especially reactively as well. So 1 fungal, and we go straight into the hive. I'm curious where this takes us. This should lead into Vipers early on. We could go into Ultras or try to go into Lurker play. And there it is. Vipers are in production. We don't really have the upgrades set up for Lurkers, so I don't expect that. We don't even have a Hydroden, so if we were to tech and commit here into Hive Tech, it may even be something like Ultras. Up! That's a kill, not a cancel. Kill on the 5th base. Very nicely done. We were double expanding another 5th here towards the south. Can Cure hold on to it though? Sorry, can Dark hold on to it? Can Cure? He can let it go. Meanwhile, Cure taking his 4th, still just fortifying himself back at home, only being active with drops. As he's preparing to reinforce with another drop here. And again, Cure has been looking quite stable back at home. Hasn't really been touched. Dark hasn't been able to go for any kind of run by or counterattack. Now that we've taken the 4th base, Curie's going to be spreading himself a little bit more thin. Ling's coming. Oh god! Ooh, doesn't quite connect. There's a world out there with this mine. This mine would have popped off. Does go down. As we do reinforce towards the south, now going to be a quadruple drop instead. There is still that infestor. A nice free split here from Cure. Trying to avoid that fungal. Oh! Ooh. Does take 1 fungal to the face. The mines are going to go up on the roaches, not the lings. And Dark will force a pick up. Pick up back into the main question mark because we have Vipers. They're ready to power bomb. Parasite bombs are available. And they will connect as well. A couple of medivacs do go down. Oh, bit of friendly fire from those mines as they clean up some of those Banelings, but Dark has maxed out. We were talking about it a couple of minutes ago, but there it is. There's the Ultra Cavern. Again, we weren't set up for Lurkers. We didn't have a Spire for a greater Spire. Ultras makes the most sense, given the tech and given the positioning here of Dark. And this entire time, because of how active Cure has been, Dark hasn't been able to counterattack, so Cure is maxed himself. He's up in workers, he's on 81 SCVs, he's working on 3-3, 5th CC being taken as well. Cure, I would say, is in a commanding position. The one downside here is that Cure doesn't have any ghosts yet. He does have a Ghost Academy, just finished. He's getting a CC, a 6th base here as we speak. But will he have the Ghost ready in time for those Ultras? For now, armies are just going to be trading. Ling Bane for Marines. These Widow Mines should not reset as the detection has arrived. And yeah, we are just taking this moment to split the map in half. Take a moment, take a breath. Oh! Big Fungal! Nice pick up here once again from Dark. And we just need to keep doing that. Just keep going for these small little trades. Coming out on top. Dark is a player with a bank. Cure does not have one. And here we go. The Baileys are rolling on in. They're going for that mineral line. Big mine shot at the SCVs. No, there's nowhere to go. Big connections. The entire mineral line goes down. There was nowhere else to run. Cure had cornered himself in the middle of this attack. By the way, we borrow some Lings, and at the same time, we try to poke towards the south. There are tanks in position. And does Cure realize what's going on? Is he going to scan? Doesn't look like he will. Behind this Nidus Worm on the way, there is that Overlord? What? Ultra Speed. You know, I never remember what Ultra Speed is called. I know Kindness Plating, obviously. Ultra Speed. Anabolic Synthesis. Okay. I'm never going to remember that. And here we go. Dark pushing in from the left-hand side. At the same time, he cannot borrow those Lings. The army's out of position, and the Bailings, they go straight for the mineral line. They could have gone for the Nexus, for the planetary even. Bailings trading with the army, taking down the tanks. Planetary will fall to the vials, knocking Cure down to 3 mining bases, soon to be 4. But a good trade nonetheless, as Dark is attempting to set up a surround. Cure, though, he doesn't take the bait, he doesn't go for it. Oh, the ghost! Oh no! The ghost overextend. What is that? 6 ghosts for free? Oh my god, that is a massive pick off. And now Dark, he can pull the trigger. He can keep on pushing. How many ghosts was that? 5. 5 ghosts. That was an expensive loss there for Cure. You know, Dark once again, he gets into the mineral line and forces back the main army. With big snipes. Big snipes do pop off. We got a Nidus into the main base, but there are reinforcements ready and waiting. Niduses will be cleaned up. And Dark will back off once again. This time remaxing here on Ultras. The Ultras, man. As they haven't arrived yet, it's a decent Microbial Shroud. Covering some of those live shots. Rolling on forward. Not the best connections though. Bailing's onto Marauders. Cure does take a better fight. He's pushing on forward. He's breaking through. Little does he know that he's about to be pushing into Ultras. But he has plenty of ghosts. A handful of Marauders. Biles take down the Liberator. Dark. Trying to bring everything together here, and up. In the end, will not be able to save that base. Hatchery will fall as he pushes in. At the same time, he's going for his own ultra counterattack. Dark's main army is suffering a little bit, but he does take down the planetary. Does take down the mineral line as well. 19 SCVs go down. Cure, he's knocked down to 4 bases. And Dark, he's going to keep on pushing. He has to respect the libs, though, the freedom zones. The freedom has arrived. And Dark will pull back. Will pull back in the end. And we need to take a moment here to take stock, as Cure tries to go in with a double drop, but Again, no Ghost Storm with this army. This army isn't really too threatening. Dark, he's on, what, 6 bases at this point. He's taking a 7th and an 8th base at the same time. He's trying to double expand. Dark has a decent economy. Is on 80 workers at this point. He just droned. Meanwhile, Cure is struggling. He actually hasn't made any SCVs in a while. He's on 3 base saturation. He has more he has more CCs, that is true. But very low worker counts, relying a little more on mules instead. But he is saturating that northern base. He is getting up and running. Planetary has been spotted. And what does Dark go for next? So far, he has consolidated his army. He has a couple of ultras here towards the south. No higher form of tech, no Greater Spire, no Lurker Den, just Lingbane, Ravager Ultra, and Vipers. Spellcasters. Again, the game just going to be settling from here. Both players going to be stabilizing. And the ghosts aren't quite here. They're out of position. Ghosts are towards the north. The massive ghost army is here instead, which means Dark, he can roll on in. He gets into the mineral line once again. Takes down the planetary, takes down 17 SCVs, and that is all that Dark needs to do. Just keep dipping in and taking down base after base. And the Cure is being pulled apart. This is the power of Side Delta. This works both ways, where this map is actually quite long, so defending both fringe bases is difficult for either defending player. Whoever has map control has quite an advantage. A bit of a misclick there from Dark, but he does threaten a dive. Alright, that's where I'm going to pull apart the army. This time the Ghosts, they rotate towards the south, but they're on their own. Once again, we deny mining time at that third. And what can Cure do from this point? I think Cure, he's doing the only thing he can do, and that is turtle. Basically, the goal for Cure is to take a good fight and maybe catch Dark overextending. If he pushes in and he pushes into a siege line with snipes and liberators, and if he loses too much too quickly, then Cure can immediately counterattack. Counterattack and kill not just one base, kill 2, kill 3 bases, maybe even just straight up win the game off of one good fight. That is his goal. But so far, Dark, oh my god, just finding just more of these exposed bases. Liberators go down, 8 more SCVs. You're just not able to keep up here. His bank is struggling as a result. Dark doesn't have the biggest, he doesn't have the biggest gas bank, but he has a lot of minerals. There's a lot of minerals available. That's why he's just remaxing here on Pureling. He knows that he needs to conserve that gas. He needs to build it up over time. We've even got Neural on the way. Oh my god. Have Neural now in production. I'm surprised they don't have a great. Did I miss it? Is there a Greater Spire? No, there's no regular Spire, no Greater Spire either. That is a little bit concerning. Ooh, Dark. He did just spend his bank. Remember, he hasn't taken his gases here at these fresh bases. So Dark does not have a gas bank. He's actually running out of gas. He should be taking more. As I believe he only has these 2 gases mining, if I'm not mistaken. Or these 2 as well. Here we go. We're collapsing on this position. The mines! They connect with the Banelings, but once again, we can take down the base. And not just that, we're going straight for the army. We're trying to roll onto the main army. We have so many mines, though. Big connections. And Dark is going to have to back off, but he gets 25 SCVs. Now, Curie is actually ahead in army supply. Dark, he just traded Banelings for workers. And now Dark, sorry, now it's Curie's turn. Oh, the Fungals! Big Fungals on the Ghosts! The Ghosts are going to be going down. There are so many Marauders, though, and my god, we can just sim on forward. We focus down the Banelings, we can focus down the Ultras as well. And Dark is in a bit of trouble. He has to try to bring everything back together. And he knows that this hatchery is most likely going to be going down. Dark, he needs time. Cure, not slowing down. Gonna push his way through the center of the map here. The Banelings gonna be rolling on in. The mine shots are a little bit too late. GG's gonna get called. Cure gets cleaned up, and Dark will take game number 1. Whew. And that was game 1. GG, well played. That is game 1 in the books. Jesus. Initially very back and forth. At a certain point, though, Dark got map control. He got full map control, and it was just Cure stuck at home. Stuck at home, struggling to defend, failing to keep up with the movement and the rotations of Dark, as Dark was just knocking down base after base after base, getting mineral line after mineral line, and it just became a bit too much towards the end there. Dark, he was lacking in gas income, and I was concerned that he was going to be stuck making only lings, especially if he didn't take extra gases, but well played. GG, well played. Dark did take it in the end, and Cure did run out of steam. Did run out. And with that, we're getting ready for game numero 2. Game number 2. Ooh, let's go. I'm catching up in the chat. Catching up. Yo, that was glory the first few weeks when it went down. Oh, look after yourself, Slowly Round. Look after yourself. Did you see they had COVID? Hope you're taking care. Plenty of fluids. Una cerveza, por favor. O en un café con leche. Don't drink them together. That's coffee with milk and beer. For those wondering. Your Spanish lesson for the day. Here we go. This channel is much better for life-laugh balance. I wouldn't know. I mentioned this when we were co-streaming the B stream, because I was listening to Loco and Wardy for the first time in years, because typically when we're casting events, we're casting the same event, right? Like we're casting WTL, or we're casting ESL Open Cups or KSL or some other online event, and yeah, I don't really get to tune into them. Was able to though the other day. But here we go. Sporting in the top right hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Zerg player leading the series 1-0. Ooh, after a very intense game 1 on side Delta, it is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing his new team, Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. Once again, going to be a 2-Rex opener out of Cure. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark going for a hatch gas pool. So a standard opener from Dark. Meanwhile, a more aggressive opener from Cure. Actually, the same thing that happened last game. And winding the clock back a little bit about what happened in game 1, that is, again, the dynamic that played out there is quite standard for once the Terran player loses map control, they just turtle up, they defend, they absorb all these attacks, and they counterattack. And that's all well and good, but Side Delta is probably the worst map for that. I mentioned before that Side Delta is very wide open. It's very wide open. The you can be kind of pulled apart left and right, as we saw in that last game, and it can be quite difficult to turtle on side Delta as a result. On a map like Alcyone, much easier. This 3-base setup is very solid because of the high ground, the choke points. Likewise, this 4th base here is very well defended because of the terrain. It quite easily leads into this goal base or here towards the right hand side. This base on the right hand side is more exposed, but the goal base a little bit more fortified, especially with the high ground provided and with how you can set up here towards the center of the map. I do think that Cure, if we do end up in a similar scenario where he has to give up map control, he will be in a better position. As Reapers are moving out, and I believe, yes, that was one drone kill as Dark did attempt to expand and take a 3rd base. A little bit greedy. Was shut down by our Korean Terran. Upon killing that drone, Cure, he shouldn't really have to invest too much more. He has 3 Reapers. He's actually getting a 4th Reaper. Interesting. 4th Reaper's on the way. Oh, does not get the drone. It's going to be forced back for the time being. Dark, he did delay his link production. Oh, no, sorry. He did actually make his links. He was just waiting in the main base. Additional links on the way. Behind this, ooh, we're going for a 3rd CC before factory. Very greedy. I love it. So this time, Cure going for a much more economic opener after the initial 2 racks, straight to the 3rd CC, and then the factory afterwards. So much more economic, less aggressive. Well, as Link Speed kicks in and we are just looking to dive on top of these Reapers. The Reapers are trapped. There's no way out. No way out, and the Reapers, they get completely shut down. They did delay the 3rd. They did contain, but they didn't really get too much damage done. They didn't kill too many workers or trade too well with the Lings, and ideally you need to keep these Reapers alive for the follow-up push, for the eventual Marine push of a Cure. Alas, instead Cure is going to be stuck at home for a little bit longer. There it is once again, the add-on swap into Cyclones. We mentioned this before, but Cure specifically is very fond of this. He's very fond of the early game Cyclones. He does feel like it does provide a lot of value. A lot of Terran players will skip this and go for continued Marine production for a harder and a stronger 2-on-1 timing with your medevacs. But this opener of Cure, the starport's very delayed, so there's no timing to hit. He's okay just making these Cyclones initially at least, and we'll see if this time he does end up working towards even a Hellbat push again. The German main caster really doesn't like the Ultra skin. I likewise, I'm not too fond of the classic Ultra skin. It is very thin. It feels like the Ultra's been starved, as we're going all in, by the way. It feels like the Ultra hasn't been eating, Poppy. I like them thick, Poppy. I like them thick. So here we go. Dark is going to be cutting workers at 39. He threw down a Roach Warren, and I assumed it would just be a safety Roach Warren, but no, we're just making nothing but Lings, nothing but Roaches and Ravagers. Dark is going all in across the map, and Cure, he was going for an economic opener. Remember, he delayed his factory production in favor of this. Ravagers have arrived. Tech Lab's going to be going down, denying combat shields. Stim is done, at least. Bunkers are on the way, but the production very exposed. The reactor goes down. One medevac will pop, but only one. Oh my god, only one medevac comes out. Yeah, the Roach Ravager pushing on forward, denying even production from this Rax. Reactor goes down. Behind this Dark, he's just flooding Lings. He's getting ready to just pull the trigger, and he's going for it. Oh. Big piles here on that bunker. And Cure, he's trying to hold on, Bob. He's trying, but another bunker goes down. The repairs are not good enough. Additional Lings are on the way. Pure Ravager taking down the Rex. Trying to get on top of that factory. The tank comes out. The tank, it has arrived. And it will force Dark back until we make some reinforcements. He wants the tank, Poppy. Can he get it? Oh, it's going to be close. Nah, he will. He will take down the tank. Big connections. A great trade here from Dark. Even if he gets cleaned up, he killed 26 SCVs. Killed a bunch of production, killed the tank. GG gets called. It's just too much. It snowballs out of control. And Dark will take the series 2-0. GG. GG. Well played. Congratulations to Dark, as he does take the series and advances on to the grand finals. Where does he have an opponent ready and waiting? Let's find out. When it comes to the game itself, again, game 1 was a little more back and forth, and it led into a longer game on site Delta. When it comes to what we saw in Alcyone, again, Kira went for a very economic opener. He wanted to get into a longer game. He did not scout the all-in until it was too late, until it was in his face. And there's a reason for that. Remember something that happened earlier? Remember the Reapers going down? The Reapers getting caught out on the map to the Speedlings? Well, with the Reapers dying, again, we have less activity on the map, less to really go for a scout, to dip into the third base, the main base even, to have any kind of map presence. And yeah, the reality is that he just didn't see it coming, didn't have anything. Whether it's scouting the bases or even having control of the Zonaga to be able to scout any kind of move out. So very late reactions out of Cure, and Dark takes the game, takes the series. Now, from the very top, we have Gumiho being taken down by Hero. Hero takes out Gumiho 2-1, and then Hero faced off against Beyond, but Hero could not stand tall against him. Hero has been eliminated. The final Protoss player went down in the semifinals to the Terran, to the Beyond. Which means that can only mean one thing. If Dark beat Cure, and if Beyond beat Hero, then Beyond versus Dark in the finals. Here we go. I may have missed out on Beyond versus Solar. That is true. We did miss out on that, but we get something even better. Beyond versus Dark. Vamonos. As we set up the casting tool, and I apologize, I did miss out on the vetoes earlier. We did miss out on the vetoes earlier, but we will make sure we don't... Vetoes? What? What am I saying? Players are currently conducting vetoes. We did miss out on the predictions. We missed out on the predictions earlier, which means we have some predictions to set up in the chat. Let's go. We'll only take a moment. We'll get there. Our predictions and finals. Los grand finales, baby. Grand finales. Beyond versus Dark. So I won't open the predictions until we get there. Until the vetoes are done. Which means I get to catch up with the chat. Get to catch up. I only really don't like the Brood War Nexus skin. Oh. I don't mind the Brood War Nexus skin. I don't like the Brood War Hatchery skin. Especially as the hatchery turns into a lair and then turns into the hive. Like, I don't know, there's something about the textures. It looks like a like a melted hatchery, you know? It's like falling apart. Like, I don't I don't know. I think it looks better in Brood War. 100%. If we look at it in Brood War, I think it looks a little bit more preferable. The only issue I have with the classic CC is that it looks like it's hard to distinguish between the classic orbital, or just a base, and the planetary, because the planetary, the cannon is a lot more thin and a lot less distinguishable, so it's a little bit harder to tell at a glance. Naruto going by Debo. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Naruto did name change. He became the Hokage, and now he's just living a different life. For those who don't know Naruto, he was the main caster for Take TV, and he still is. He just name changed, I believe. Shout out to Take. Oh. Fuego, papi. Hello, smile. Hello. Welcome, papi. Welcome. We're vetoing prediction. No. Not like this. It looks like the videos are now done, which means predictions will soon be open. There we go. We're diving into game number 1, potentially. And there it is. If you're in the chat, place your bets. Predictions open for the next couple of minutes. They are open, so best of luck for who you think is going to be this week's champion. Is it going to be Beyond or is it going to be Dark? Up to you to decide in the chat. I mean, Cyclones are not failed, but they just work differently. Yeah, I'm personally, I think I'm fond of the new Cyclone. I think I like it. We have been seeing it used quite frequently. I mean, again, like as we've been seeing, players like Cure, they just use them early on for map control and shutting down overlords. He doesn't mass them. There are some players like Clem that have attempted to mass them. There have been a lot of all-ins as well, especially in TVP, but we can get into that at a later date because here we are in the grand finals, Los Gran Finales, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Beyond. Going for a 2-rax. Let's go. And spawning in the top left, we have we have the top left-hand corner. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Getting 2-rax. It is Dark. I just realized what Iceland just said. A classic hatchery when he's Protoss. You're an animal, Einstein. You're an animal. Yeah. I need to throw down the platypus head. There we go. Beautiful. And it is going to be a proxy 2-rax. Now, Dark is for now unawares. The first Overlord is going across the map. The second Overlord should be rallied back home. There it is. Actually, oh my god, look at the rally setting here. The Overlord is sent out towards the halfway mark, then turning back around, but the drone comes in, and the drone does confirm the proxy. The boys are being pulled now. It's only a proxy 2-rack, so this is not the most committed. You can pull the boys, and if you can get on top of these SCVs, if you can deny the bunkers, then you will shut this down. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It looks like the Raxes, they will finish, but these SCVs, they've taken a lot of hits, and that means bunkers will not be finishing up. More boys are being pulled here to dive on top of the Marines. The question marks are real. Do we have Maddox? We have Inu. We have Inu to translate. Give us a translation, Inu. As Dark is going back to droning. Beyond just repositioning his Raxes. Marines trying to push out, but again, there's no bunkers, so without bunkers, Beyond shouldn't really do too much damage. He's forcing lost mining time, that is true. He can maybe get a couple of drone kills, but once the queens come out, that should be a hold. So far so good here from Dark, sorry. And Beyond is transitioning. He's already transitioning back at home. He's going for a factory. Vote for the Gains or vote for the Zerg. Well, see, that's the problem that I have with the Ultra, with the classic Ultra skin. It's so thin, it's so frail. It needs some meat on those bones, man. We need to feed him. As the Queens have arrived, Marines are going to be forced back. We're still just pumping out more and more Marines here at this Rax. So we do force a lift off. And back at home, Bjorn is expanding. He is going to be expanding There it is. We have that starport on the way. Interesting. It's going to be a 2-1-1. Okay. So we do have a 2-1-1 opener before us. Before the third TC, so quite an aggressive opener here, or quite an aggressive follow-up from Björn. He's going to be delaying his third base in favor of a starport. Speaking of, even the low ground CC is delayed as well. Ay, ay, ay. It's going to take a little bit longer to get up and running. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark, he's just expanding, taking a third base. Roach Warren's on the way, additional gases as well. Now, what is scary is that the rush distance on Golden Aura is pretty short. And look at all this lost building time. These Raxes are floating back home and they're doing nothing. Stim is delayed, combat shields is delayed. Now, what I'm getting at is that just like the previous game against Cure, Dark, he can cut workers at around 50. He can cut workers pre-three-way saturation, and he can just go for like one big roach push. Now, the one thing that's deterring me from that is that we're just now taking our gases. Gases are delayed, and we don't have link speed. Without link speed, potentially Dark may be a little bit more wary about pushing out. I can only say one of them said really. Okay. Here we go. Roaches are in production. Third base getting established. Dark isn't droning. He's cutting workers here at 35, but okay, there we go. There we go. He's making 5 more workers. He's droning up even further. These are just safety roaches just to make sure that the Björn doesn't snowball out of control. And Dark is going to be able to just chill back at home and saturate. There it is. Lair is on the way. Do you have a Hellion drop into the main base? Well, we have the Lings in position. They are only slow Lings, but regardless, they're able to zone away those Hellions. At the same time, the Roaches are going for a big counterattack. The tank not quite in position, but now it's a siege. Big tank volleys going off on these Roaches. Oh my god. Massive connections. Just like that, 4 or 5 Roaches go down. Dark, he's bleeding out too much. Yeah, this was a massive blunder here from Dark. Not really expecting the tank to be out already. Oh, that is 9 Roaches falling. So many minerals, so much gas down the drain. At the same time, the Hellions come in. Initially, it was a good defense from Dark, but now Dark is in a lot of trouble. Dark is droning. Does Dark have an army? He has 1 Roach, and Björn is not backing off. Uh-oh. Dark still isn't making any units. There we go. 2 more Roaches are on the way, but this may just be game. Björn, he rocks up here at the third base. Drone's going to be going down the hatchery as well. This is getting an insane amount of damage. The boys are being pulled. We're going to lose 18, 19, 20. GG gets called, and Björn will take game number 1. GG. Initially, a good defense. Initially, a solid defense out of Dark. But he did get too overeager. He overextended. He pushed out with his Roaches. He lost 9 Roaches for free, essentially. And he was droning as he was losing those Roaches, which means he did not have anything left to defend. I mentioned before, the rush distance by ground on Golden Aura led me to believe that we could get into a Roach Ling all-in. Instead, Björn, is able to punish a push, counterattack, and end the game then and there. Björn takes a lead. After a failed Proxy 2-Rax, by the way. Impressive. But for context, Proxy 2-Rax is not very committed. You can transition very seamlessly out of Proxy 2-Rax. Proxy 3-Rax is different. That is, suddenly you have so much more emphasis on it and your follow-up is so much more delayed. So that's a bit of a different story, but it was only 2 Raxes, so Björn could just get out of that in the end and was able to secure his win here. Again, Dark just overconfident, Bobby, overconfident. Now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead, we have the South Korean Terran player leading the series 1-0, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Björn. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent Oh my god. We have his opponent representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming. It is Dark. And as we get into game number 2 of the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia number 199, I want to give a big shout out to Gemini GGE Mini in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. I hope you had some good matches as well. I did notice that Gemini, he was in the bracket this week. He was in the tournament. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast Gemini, but I hope you had a great time nonetheless. And thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying yourself when it comes to your own content, when it comes to the All Things Protoss Team League as well. Do check out Gemini's channel. A lot of great content, a lot of good casting. Good stuff, good stuff. As we're getting into our openers. Björn, this time going for a 2-Rax, yes, but back at home, not across the map. It's going to be a 2-Rax Reaper opener, as opposed to the proxy 2-Rax that we did have in game number 1. Behind this, Dark going Hatch Gas Pool. Going for his own standard opener as well. Overlord is going to be coming in, and Dark is going to confirm, okay, everything is looking normal, everything is back at home, I'm not being cheesed the hell out. Not yet, at least. Not yet. As, of course, Björn has a lot of potential with this, has a lot of aggressive potential as well. We've seen Björn go into 3-Rax Master Reaper, which we would have seen a 3rd-Rax by now. We've seen him go into 4-Raxes, 3-Raxes, you know, just a 2-base all-ins, not even 3cc 2-on-1, or even a 3cc 2-on-1. There's a lot on the table here. My eyes, they're glued to Björn, in the production tab at least. As the Reaper dips into the main base, gonna try and disrupt some of the mining here. Do force out those lings. And we do have a bit of a dance between our first couple of units. And these things should not go down, but oh! Oh my god, looks like the first ling will fall. Can we get a drone? Up! We do not! Very quick gas geyser there from Dark. Forces a cancel. Keeps the drone alive. And from here, Björn is transitioning. We have the factory on the way, and it is going to be a 3cc 2-on-1 opener. That's a Björn. Now, we'll see what kind of variation we go for here. You know, Mario last season, he did go for a Widowmine drop variation of this. We have been seeing some Hellbat pushes out of Cure off of 2-on-1s. We have seen some Cyclone pushes as well. Until then. Oh, a drone does get picked off. Very nicely done. Bearing in mind, this is only 3 Reapers, and as the Reapers get pushed away, Dark is expanding, is taking his 3rd base. Was not really delayed for too long. Link speed kicks in. Oh! And he will get us around. He will get 1, at least 1. Maybe even all 3. And it does look like all 3 Reapers will go down. We get a last scout off just to make sure that there's no hidden Roach Warren behind a mineral line. Dark is more than willing to go all in on roaches, so Björn is just making sure that that is not the case. And now that the 3rd CC is on the way, we have that starport as well. Oh, and this is going to be what looks to be a Banshee variant. Again, this has risen in popularity amongst players like Björn and Maru. So essentially what's going on here, typically we would have a reactor on the factory, we go for an add-on swap, and we go for Metavacs. But instead this time we have a tech lab, so we're going for Banshees instead. It's been a while since we've seen this, but the reasoning for this is because against a 2-on-1 opener, Dark is very unlikely to throw down spores. There's no reason to throw down spores, at least not to deal with Banshees. To deal with maybe follow-up drop play, we may get some like fringe spores here on the edges of the bases. But for the most part, Dark is going to be cutting corners, and the likelihood of him having spores is very low, which means this Banshee could do a lot of damage. Now, the reason why this will catch Dark off guard, and this is very uncommon, is because this will delay the push. Stim is done. We have plenty of Marines. Ideally, we want to be going into those medevacs as soon as possible so we can make use of these Marines, make use of Stim, be active on the map, clear up creep, and vie for map control. Beyond, he's going to be sacrificing that aggressive potential in favor of catching his opponent off guard and crippling the economy by going to town on that mineral line. So Dark just, taking quite a big gamble here. praying that these Banshees go unscouted. And so far they are. So far, no spores. Dark, he's taking his gases. He's working on what was soon to be a 4th base. Lair is on the way as well. Just now finishing. So we have access to Overlord, or to Overseers even. And here we go. The Banshees have arrived. We have our 2 Banshees. We're going to be moving out. So far unscattered. So far Dark has no idea. No idea what's going on. Banshee's making a beeline for, I imagine, the main base. Meanwhile, Bjorn is chilling back at home. He's waiting for his medevacs, as now we do have an actual medevac swap, or an add-on swap for that reactor. The Banshees have arrived, and so far, no spores. We just go straight for the Queen. Queen's gonna go down, and we can one-shot workers. Cloak does run out, as we did actually activate Cloak prematurely, so we get 4 drones and a Queen. We could have gotten more, but the Banshees are still alive. They're still very healthy. We can go in and we can get even more damage the next time. Not bad to start with, not bad. 4 workers, a Queen, and here comes the main push. Stim is done. Combat shields as well. There we go, we can stim a little bit more freely. Diving in towards this 4th base location. Up! And he's not quite going to connect. Banshees, they rain down on those Banelings. Meanwhile, we try to go for a double drop in the main base, but the Queens are in position. And the drop is denied. Beyond going to be forced back. At least he didn't lose his Marines. He does preserve them. Likewise, the Banshees are still alive as well, as they try to dip back into the main base with energy for Cloak. Meanwhile, Dark is rushing into a lair. Sorry, not a lair. I mean, he did. He's rushing into a hive. Very fast hive here out of Beyond, out of Dark even. So it's all blending together. Alright. Ready for this. Very fast hive out of Dark. Curious as to what that's going to be for. Good target firing, but the drop is forced away. Meanwhile, Dark hasn't really been losing too many workers. He lost 4 workers earlier, but now he's been able to drone up to 77. He's getting a 5th base up and running. He is free to drone and saturate up to 80 workers. We do see that Bjorn is trying to do something about that. He does have a drop here on the right-hand side, but he has so much creep to work through first. So much of that creep. And he is just cutting a path through that creep towards the top right-hand base, but there are Banelings though! Bjorn wasn't looking! He's not looking, Papi! Takes some Banelings to the face. Bjorn losing a lot of momentum. He still has a drop on the left-hand side, but there are Banelings waiting for him there as well. As Bjorn, he's working on a 4th CC, should be taking his gases. That's the 2nd factory for Widowmine production, 2-2 on the way. Pretty standard setup here from Bjorn, other than the lack of gases. But he's not going tank heavy, so Widowmines makes plenty of sense. As the Banshees, they come back in, they get another 4 drones. Did I say 4? They're gonna get 5. 5 workers. Who was there? Finally gonna get shut down. I believe that was 9 drones in total and a Queen. Pretty good stuff here for some Banshees. At the same time, we have Bjorn going for a bit of a waddle by himself. Gets into the middle line, gets 7 drones, and he can just keep on pushing. Oh my god! Banelings once again getting some decent connections. At the same time, Dark tries to go for a counterattack, but last he gets cleaned up. Does not get into the mineral line, does not touch the economy at all of Bjorn. And Bjorn is snowballing out of control. You can see here that he's just pulling his opponent apart. Dark is trying to keep up, don't get me wrong. Dark has been teching. Go with the hatchery, up! Oh, Bjorn being too greedy, takes some Banelings to the face, does not get the hatchery. Uh-oh. He didn't get the hatchery. Didn't trade well against the Link Bane. Bjorn, is he overconfident? The medevac goes down. Is he too overconfident? Is he... yeah, just bleeding out too much? There's some Bane run-bys. 10 SCVs go down. At the same time, here comes the main army of Dark. Takes down the add-ons. Gets 10 SCVs. backs off from here. And once again, we saw this out of Dark earlier. We saw this from him against Cure. He's going Ling Bane into Ultras. We have some Infestors to support, some Vipers as well. But the Ultras are what's coming next. Meanwhile, once again, another Ling run by. Bjorn has to turn back around. More SCVs are going down. This is getting out of control. A couple of Lings are buried. Scan is required. This is a bit of a misclick. As we do accidentally click on the CC itself, we get a lot of damage done, but we could have killed some more SCVs. So a bit of miscontrol out of Dark. As the drop play attempts to continue, but Dark is able to shut it down left and right, time and time again. And now he is slowly getting into his 3-3. 3-3, kind of splitting. Vipers are on the way. And Bjorn is that much more committed as a result. And yo, he's getting it done. Oh my god. Here comes the Lings. Mind shot's not quite connecting. Big fungal on the Marines. Massive fungal does connect. Bjorn's main army is going to be forced back, but he did get a kill on this hatchery, and he's going to keep on pushing. Cleans up the Lings. He's forcing his way into that mineral line. He wants it, but alas, Lings, they come in just in time, and they will be cleaned up. Really efficient trades here out of Dark. Sorry, out of Bjorn. God, I did it again. Really efficient trades out of Bjorn. Dark bleeding out a bit too much. He may be ahead in workers, but he's losing base after base. This is affecting his production. This is affecting his ability to spend his money. As the Ultras are arriving. They're coming. Ultras are on the way. That Infestor somehow avoids the scan. He's sucking it in. Oh my god. At the same time, oh my god, the friendly fire! That was almost purely friendly fire. 8 SCVs go down. Thanks to those Widow Mines. Powerbomb's gonna be coming in. Oh, drops go down as well. Young gonna have to retreat here. I don't think we really want to commit, not right now. Not yet. Some more bathing run-bys are attempted. We do see Dark trying to collapse here on this army. Dark is beating out a lot of units as well. Bear that in mind. He hasn't been trading too well. Yeah, even here, these Banelings, they go down. They take down a couple of Marauders. A Widow Mine. Young can just keep on pushing. Ultras are on the way. Now Ultra's the answer. Are they the answers? Oh my god! As the Ling Bane does crash on this army, collapses on in, cleans up half of it. But you can see Bjorn, he just stands his ground, keeps on reinforcing, trading very well here with his upgrades with 3-3. And Dark, he just needs some room to breathe. Needs some time here to spend his resources, spend his money. Inject his bases as he only has 5 queens. And Bjorn just refuses to slow down. Almost purely Marauders. Oh my god. Massive mine shots. Dark losing so many of those Marines. Almost for free. Sorry, Dark losing so many of those Lings almost for free. God, it's the fatigue is getting to me a little bit. Thankfully, I'm only messing up the names. I'm still coherent. Let's see, we go. Double drop towards the left. I'm hoping to catch an Ultra. Can we get it? Up, up, up. Not quite. Big overextension, but at the same time, Bjorn gets into a mineral line, breaks the base once again, and oh god. Dark, it just feels like he has been losing a bit too much, but did I speak too soon? Eventually, as Lings, they do slip into the natural base. SCVs are falling at the same time. The main army of Dark heading towards the third base of Bjorn. Takes down the factory. Takes down 10 SCVs. Dark's just being as annoying as possible. Hiding those lings. But again, Dark, he's just been losing so many of his workers here. Liberator going ham at that triangular third base. The army a bit overstimmed here, but the Ultras, they're not looking too hot either. Big mine shots go off. Ultras are going down, at least on the right-hand side. Behind the army, though, here come even more Ultras from Dark. He gets us around. This is so close. This is such a slugfest here between both Dark and Björn. Dark, he's barely holding each time, but he's also taking just big mine shots to the face whenever possible. Speaking of, no mine shots this time. This time, Björn, we're going for a pseudo base trade. Björn, he loses his third base. At the same time, though, he's going to deny a fresh mining base of Dark. Hatchery will fall. Dark, he's not slowing down. He keeps on pushing. Breaking into the natural, forcing some friendly fire. And it looks like Dark may have just done it. It's close. Oh, the bird. The buff to the... Oh, my God. He's having fun. The buff to the Burrowed Ultras. Let's go. Does take slightly less time to borrow an Ultra for those wondering in the new patch. Specifically a Dark buff. As, yeah, we have broken through the army. Getting into the natural, into the main base. There's nothing left. Only a handful of Marines and Marauders. He rotates towards the third. Could even rotate towards the other third base. It looks like it's just too much. GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Oh my God. And I was concerned, Papi. I was concerned. GG, well played. Very back and forth there. Oh, I'm blurry. Oh, we're back. Very back and forth there between Björn and Dark. Constantly just both players losing workers, losing mineral lines, taking some rough trades. In the end, the Ultras, they reigned supreme. They were able to trade well enough, preserve them, keep them alive as well, and snibble that into a win in game 1. Win in that first game. Oh, un momento. As we have a series. We have a series on our hands. We're getting into game number 3. Sorry, I just did a squat. Getting the blood flowing, and here we go in the top right hand corner from on the map, Solaris. We have representing Shopify Rebellion from the land of South Korea. It is Björn. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is Dark. Okay, we're good to go. We are good for it. Oh, and Björn looking to go for the low ground Raxes once again. 2 games in a row. As a reminder, game 1 there was proxy 2 Rax, but in game 2, much more standard opener out of Björn, and looking to be the same here in game number 3 as the SCV comes down to the low ground, and we should be throwing down that Rax. Meanwhile, Dark did bring it back. It wasn't an easy road for him though. It is a patch gas pool out of Dark, but it wasn't an easy road. It was quite a back and forth, and there were moments there where I was concerned that Dark was maybe trading a little bit too inefficiently. We saw a lot of juicy mine connections. We saw, especially early on, Björn gaining a lot of momentum, cleaning out a lot of lings, and we are not slowing down. That is the third Rax. What does that mean? That means Mass Reaper. 3 Rax Mass Reaper out of Björn, a very aggressive build. Now, this is not all in. It is committed. Don't get me wrong. With 3 Rex Reaper, you need to not just deny the third. That's what I'm getting at. Not just deny the third base. We want to contain on 2 bases. We want to kill some queens. We want to kill some drones. We want to trade well with all of our Reapers. But also, we need to preserve those Reapers and keep them alive to be able to get into our next step. To be able to get into our 2-base saturation, into our stim timing, into our Marines. We cannot throw them away. If we do, we lose map control. And if that happens, Dark, he could go all in. He could try to break the Terran back at home. Beyond has to be very careful here with his movement. Gonna be dipping on forward. Sniping a couple of lings. Or just trading with the lings, I should say. Dancing. Poking away. Second Reaper will arrive. That is, again, looking normal so far. Nothing major yet here. No red flags for Dark. He barely does not lose a drone. That was close, though. Very close. Dark does hold. Meanwhile, this third base is going to be cancelled. Dark trying to be a little bit greedy, but there's no shot. There's no way we can hold on to this base, especially with additional Reapers on the way. And Beyond is already transitioning, actually. Huh. Okay, a much earlier transition out of Beyond. There we go. The Reapers have arrived. We actually ignore the base. We go straight for the Queens. I mentioned this before, but when you go 3 Rex Reaper, you do want to get more damage than just denying the base. And it looks like 2 Queens go down. This is getting out of hand. Uh-oh. No more Queens are remaining. There's no anchor point to the army. We have a couple of Lings remaining here, and it looks like Beyond is going to respect it. He's going to back off. He can go straight for the hatchery instead. He's just waiting for another round of reinforcements before going in. And it looks like Beyond will allow this hatchery to finish. Okay. So Beyond basically, he decided to go for the Queens instead of the base. And not a bad trade. Not a bad trade whatsoever. Getting those Queens. He's going to back off. He's racing back home. He's aware that link speed is done. He doesn't want to get caught out. He doesn't want to get surrounded. And he will keep all of the Reapers alive. 1 link, 2 Queens. Good trade so far here from Beyond. As he gets into his transition, we have our natural base, and we have our stim on the way. I mentioned before that, again, 3-Rex Reaper is not all in. You do transition out of this into Marine play, into a stim timing, and that is what Beyond is working on. Meanwhile, we do see these things just doing whatever they can, clearing up some rooks. Dark, he's just saturating his bases, he's stabilizing. We're going for a fast Evo chamber. This Evo chamber should be for +1 Carapace. That is the correct reaction to a mass bio army that's coming your way. Carapace is the most important upgrade here, and there it is. This Carapace is the most important upgrade because it does apply to every single Marine shot. Marines have a high rate of fire, so it does apply to every single shot taken, just to minimize damage here and maximize effectiveness and efficiency here out of these lings and melees. Behind this, Dark going for his 4th hatchery as well. Again, just focusing on droning for the time being. He was focusing on droning, but we have 26 more lings on the way. He spots the move out, and he's hoping for a surround. 26 lings in production at the same time. Not quite catching reinforcements. This is also why I said before that we want to preserve those Reapers. They are now joining forces here with the main by push. We can throw down KDA charges. We can avoid surrounds. Speaking of, here comes Dark. Dark, he's coming in from behind. He gets a full surround here on the army. The medevacs are doing what they can, but this is a massive cleanup. A strong moment here, a big moment for Dark. As he cleans up the forces, he cleans up the army, goes for a counterattack, gets a couple more Marines. Won't try to bust into the natural, he doesn't have banelings for it. He will race back home. Beyond still has a threatening army. Has to be respected. Dark, he's got 14 more lings in production. Just dive into the mineral line as well. Trying to get whatever we can get. trade as best we can. Bjorn will back off. Oh my god, he backs up but he comes back in. Behind this, third CC is on the way. We have another army pushing towards the third base of Dark. Dark is able to keep up. He is able to keep up as Bjorn keeps on pushing. And yeah, these purelings are kind of in position, but no, the SimCity working against Dark. A massive trade here for Bjorn. He cleans up all the lings, goes straight for the Baneling Nest as well. That's a big loss here for Dark. 0 Banelings. And the positioning is it's just too good. GG gets called. Bjorn snowballs out of control in one swift move. And Bjorn takes game number 3. GG. It was over. Things escalated very quickly out of control. Initially, it's like, oh, you know, we have a drop in the main base. We have the main army pushing out. Like, Dark, he can hold on. He's got a Baneling Nest. He's got lings. He's got queens. But the positioning there, he was able to catch Dark completely off guard, out of position. And yeah, those Marines wedging themselves within or next to that Baneling Nest, within the mineral patches as well, reducing the surface area. GG, well played. Again, things just escalating very quickly. And Bjorn is now one game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup champion. This week's champion. Here we go. Can he pull it off, or can Dark force the ace match? Here we go. Oh, the pressure is on. Dark is up against the wall. And we're going to be loading into Site Delta. Let's go. As spawning in the top left hand corner of Site Delta, we have the player currently leading the series 2-1. Again, just popping off in the last game and looking to do so again. Here on Site Delta, representing Shopify Rebellion, it is Bjorn. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is Dark. Boy, the pressure is on. Dark needs to fight back here and now. We're going for another Proxy 2-Rax. In the center of the map. No, this is not a Proxy 2-Rax. This is a Proxy 3-Rax. Something very different, something far more deadly. This is that much more all-in. Overlord is coming out, and will the Overlord see the third Rax? Oh, it should. The Overlord commits. Dark, he knows that he needs to recognize whether this is one or the other, as Bjorn, he cancels, he backs off. Gets the hell out of there. SCV leaves, and Bjorn will only be committing to a 2-Rax. The boys are being pulled, and Dark is shutting this down. Bjorn are gonna try and transition back at home. I don't know what he said, but I'm sure he wasn't too happy about that. I mean, at least he didn't commit. If he had thrown down a third Rax, then he would have sealed his fate. Instead, only 2 Raxes. Yeah, forces a cancel. And Dark has defended. Dark looking good here so far in the early game. Oh, game number 4. The Marine, does not get a drone kill either, as Dark, he can just transfer back over towards his natural. We have links on the way, queens as well. Bjorn is working on a CC on location. A really risky move, actually. A bold move, but I mean, he has this Rax here holding the fort. He's getting away with it for now, until eventually a factory on the high ground. And Bjorn, he has to be greedy. He has to be greedy if he wants to come back in this game. Rax is floating back home. And Reaper's pushing in. Oh boy. Okay, the Reaper has arrived. It looks like we are not going to get a drone. Be forced back. Dark for now going to be holding. Is going to be holding strong, holding fast. Oh, as Dark does sneak out of third base. It is a delayed third, but a third nonetheless. Likewise, Beyond also has a delayed CC. It's all delayed just because of the quirky nature of the openers. And yeah, from here, Dark, you should just be able to drone up. Beyond is going for a Cyclone first. Very interesting choice. And he's going 3CC before Starport, which is spotted by Dark. He sees the command center in production, so he's fully aware that his opponent's being very economic. It's going to be a 3CC 1-1-1. No second racks. There we go. We are just easing ourselves in towards the mid game. So far, I would still give the edge to Dark. I do think that Dark had a much stronger start overall after punishing and denying the proxies and all that stuff. I know that the third base is a little bit later than we would have liked, but that is still manageable here for Dark as he's just fully saturating on 2 bases, taking his gases. Link speed is on the way, and yeah, Dark not looking too bad now. Even though things aren't looking too bad, we've seen Beyond still just turn water into wine and just get an insane amount of value nonetheless out of just a handful of units. And interesting, it's going to be 3CC 1-1-1. It's going to be 3CC Cloak Banshee from Beyond. The Banshees, they're coming back. They are looking to come back. Cloak on the way. Banshees in production. Imagine going to be working on 2 again. Ooh, as soon as the Reaper goes out, we go straight for the lair. This isn't a fast lair. There's, what, a 3 minutes 45 lair timing, which is pretty normal. Very safe play here out of Dark. This should eventually lead into a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, one or the other. Most likely a Baneling Nest out of Dark. Yeah, there it is. Baneling Nest is thrown down. Now, the reason why I say this is because the Baneling Nest is lined up to finish by the time the lair finishes, which means we can go straight into Baneling Speed. There are 2 Evo Chambers for 1-1. Pretty solid setup here from Dark. And I can say the same for Beyond. Beyond has got his 3rd TC. He's getting into 3-1-1 setup here with 3 Raxes. Going down a 4th Rax here on the low ground. 4th and 5th Rax, actually. There you go. So, yeah, we're kind of getting into the mid-game without too much issue. Without too much issue at all. Which we do love to see. Now, it's going to be all about the mid-game at this point. It's going to be about how good the creep spread is here for Dark, whether or not Beyond can establish his 3rd base without too much issue, and how good the drop play of Beyond is going to be. The Banshees reveal themselves, and no, 1 goes down already. The Banshees, they haven't done anything. Oh, a rough start here for Beyond. Now, Banshees, they are dual purpose. Like, obviously, they can shoot down, and they're amazing against Roach openers. It looks like Beyond was assuming that Dark would go for a Roach opener, as Dark is throwing down a Hydrogen and an Infestation, but at the same time, a little bit greedy here out of Dark. Being very tech-heavy. It looks like Dark is getting ready for some lunkers. Hydraulic Viper for now. But the lunkers on the horizon nonetheless. Far on the horizon, but you know, it's there. I can see it. It's you can see, Battle. You can see. Oh, as Beyond will lose that final Banshee. Again, quite brutal. It does mean that the opener of Beyond was subpar. Didn't quite achieve much with said Banshees at all. And a shout out to Dark for being able to keep up with it. Link does dip in and confirm the 3rd base. Just building up his forces here, just waiting for those medevacs before he does start going for drop play. He needs to sooner rather than later. Finally, he's moving out. Why I say he needs to deny creep. Like, this creep is now getting to the halfway mark, and we just haven't been vying for control. Oh, as we do get caught out. A couple Marines go down the mine. Up. Mine shot doesn't quite connect. Another mine here on the high ground. But Bjorn is forced back, and Dark, he's getting out of hand. Double expanding, getting a 5th and 6th base. Clearing up these rocks in the center, going for a Ling Bane. We have Adrenal on the way with that hive. No Vipers yet, I believe. Yeah, no Vipers yet. But just Adrenal. Just mass Ling Bane. And as a result, Bjorn is going to have a hard time pushing. Bjorn, I don't think he can push. I think he's just stuck at home. He has already lost so much momentum because of the openers, and I think he fully understands that. Yep, he's just turtling up, throwing down turrets, starting on missile turrets, drilling claws for those widow mines, and yeah, Bjorn, he's stuck at home. He's stuck, man. He's stuck. Meanwhile, the world is Dark's oyster. And what does he do with it? He maxes out on Ling Bane. He's reaching that 200 supply mark. And here we go. We're getting ready to engage from multiple angles. The mine shots, they need to connect. Good mine shot on the left. Decent mine shot on the right. A lot of Lings go down, but the Banelings, they connect. Up. Decent connections on these Marines. Some of them do escape. But the Banelings, they're making their way towards the mineral lines. They take down an eBay. Tank is falling. Lings, they bust into the mineral line. The Banelings as well. GG gets called. It's just far too much. And Dark takes game number 4. We have an ace match. We're going all the way to game 5. GG. GG, well played. And I think what I'm most impressed by is that this game, it was all about the openers. It was the fact that Bjorn put himself behind by going for what was going to be a proxy 3 racks, was shut down, and Dark took a lead and he just ran with it. Not just that, but he also shut down the Banshee opener, which meant that all those resources were just down the drain. They did not pay for themselves. They didn't do any economic damage. They didn't kill any queens. Just really solid play out of Dark after shutting down that proxy. And now we have our final game of the best of 5. It all ends here. It all ends on Alkyone. The final map of the series, the final map of the tournament, to determine who comes out on top, who's going to be our champion, the Zerg or the Terran, the Dark or the Bjorn. We will find out. Meanwhile, I will let you know that after this series, I'm... bitch. I could have tried to, if I was a little bit more well rested, I could have tried to stay up and cast ESL Open Cup Europe, but I don't see that happening. I'm very tired after barely sleeping earlier. So yeah, our goal here is to finish covering ESL Asia, and then tomorrow Americas. ESL Open Cup Americas will be next instead. But again, at least just continuing broadcasting on a daily basis. Tomorrow, we're also going to be catching up with WTL. We missed out on day 3 of World Team League, so we will be casting and covering World Team League tomorrow. At around this time. A little bit earlier than this time. Before GSL. As we're getting into that final game, it all comes down to this final map, and it's hard to really get a read on how this series and how this series will end, how this series finale will go, just because of how aggressive our players have been. Aggression from both sides, especially when it comes to the openers. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyone. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion being forced into the ace match. It is Bjorn. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming, tying up the series 2-2 in that last game, forcing the ace match. It is Dark. And this time the Raxes are back at home, and important to take note of because this series we've seen proxy 2 Rax out of Bjorn, we've seen an attempted proxy 3 Rax as well. This time the Raxes in the natural wall, where they should be, Thankfully. Still getting a much more calm and chill early game. I mean, I say calm and chill, it should still be a 2 Rax opener nonetheless. I say that, but the SCV hasn't come down yet. This could even be something that Bjorn has been dabbling in. The special opener, which is Rax into Factory on the low ground with a CC behind it. Again, Special has been very fond of this, and it has been slowly catching on amongst the Korean players. It took a couple of years, but they like it, Papi. They like it. And it is going to be a Rax Expand Marine first. Marine to begin with. Followed eventually by that Factory as well, I imagine. There's that CC on location. Back at home, Hatch, Gas Pool. Standard opener, out of Dark. Nothing too fancy, there's no 15-15 here, there's no like gases opener or anything like that. If we were on Radisson Station, then maybe. But here, everything is just a little more chill. There's that Factory that we were talking about, on the low ground. Rack's going to be lifted, going to shut down the Overlord. I wonder if Bjorn is willing to embrace... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I wonder if he's willing to embrace the Cyclone like a bunch of other Terran players have, but looks like that isn't going to be the case. We do have a Tech Lab, sorry, Reactor on the way, but I don't think we're going for an add-on. So meanwhile, we're going for a bait bus! That's a very early baiting nest here from Dark, catching me off guard. I was like, we're gonna ease our way in, you know, we're getting overlords, we're droning, we're chilling. No, not anymore. Dark, one way or another, the game ends, or we cripple the economy. Lings are on the way. Lings, Banelings. It's all or nothing, and Dark will be sending everything out. Meanwhile, Bjorn doesn't know. Bjorn, he skipped his Reaper. Remember, Bjorn went Marine first. Marine first, not Reaper. Bjorn, he also skipped his SCV Scout, so he has no idea what's coming his way. He has no idea what's happening. We do have some Hellions. Hellions, they can help defend against Ling Bane. They are a good unit to make use of. Here we go, the Lings, they pull the trigger. We get a surround on the Marines, and we're looking for surround on these Hellions as well. The wall is not a wall. Banelings are in production. The jig is up. We still have 2 Hellions alive. And 2 more come out. And with good enough control, these Hellions, they can clean this up. As Baneling does finish. And Banelings, they are completing. Banshees are on the way as well. So far, the Banelings are lining up. Up. Good target firing here from Bjorn. He gets 3 Banelings, and can he get the last 2? Up. He doesn't. No. The Banelings. They do crash into the mineral line. One of them still does survive as well, and it will connect here with the Hellion. 1 Hellion left for Bjorn. But we have more on the way behind this. The Banshee arrives as well. Bailey will not connect. Oh my god. Will connect, actually. As it finishes up just in time. Bjorn down to 13 SCVs. We have Lings continuing to flood across the map as well. Dark is now droning. But he's getting more damage done. Takes down the depot. Goes for more SCVs. There's nothing on the ground. Oof. And this Banshee is too little too late. It will eventually kill everything, but not before Bjorn loses every single SCV. Again, Bjorn, he skipped his SCV Scout. Well, I mean, the SCV Scout wouldn't have told him that anyway, but he did skip his Reaper. Didn't have any map presence whatsoever. Was in the dark. Not even going for some of his own mules. That's all that's left, Pop. There's nothing else left. Stop it. Ah. Oh my god. As 1 mule remains. GG gets called. There's nothing left here for Bjorn, and Dark will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. bringing it back. There were some worrisome moments, some very strong plays here out of Bjorn in this series, in this finals. It was very shaky, very back and forth, though. Likewise, Dark was also hyper aggressive. You could see that come to fruition even here in the ace match, to go all the way for a Ling Bane bust, unscouted, completely unscouted. And Bjorn, no idea what was happening, could not keep up. GG. GG, well played. We'll just let them know. And yeah, oh right, I should fix it up on the score screen as well. And congratulations, my condolences to Bjorn. He played well. He played very well here in the finals, made it all the way to the grand finals as well, 2-0ing solo in the process, but could not overcome the might that was Dark in the end. And yeah, they're both amazing players. They go back and forth in series, and yeah, an ace match makes a lot of sense here between both of them. Both Dark and Bjorn went the distance. GG. Whew. And I hope everyone in the chats enjoyed themselves. We had a lot of great games here tonight. Cyan was popping off early on. I feel like the highlight for tonight has to be Estrella versus Cyan. If you tune in a little bit later, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. Estrella versus Cyan was insane. It was crazy. And worth checking out. Just because of how nonsensical it was. Or how brilliant. Depending on how you look at it. You know, it was either just nonsense or it was brilliance. You know, very fine line between the two. Very fine line. And yeah, it was just an amazing series to bear witness to. An amazing series to be a part of. And with that, GG, well played. That does wrap up our broadcast for the day. Our broadcast does wrap up here, and I hope everyone in the chat did enjoy themselves. We also did stream over on YouTube for the first time today as well. I know that a couple people also tuning in via YouTube for our first stream. They did, of course, recently announce that we can multi-stream. We can dual stream nowadays. So we are going to be attempting to stream on YouTube and Twitch both at the same time, as much as we can. That should also help with VODs. We'll see. We'll see if it does help with VODs and uploading and all that stuff. Hopefully, skipping a step and being more efficient. But yeah, outside of that, hope everyone had a great time. Hope everyone did enjoy themselves. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft, ESL Open Cup Europe is in a couple of hours. It is going to be in almost 5 hours. In almost 5 hours time is ESL Open Cup Europe. I will not be casting that. We typically don't cast ESL Open Cup EU just because of the bad time slots. I'm in Australia. It is midnight here in Australia, so yeah, I won't be covering that. But I will be going to bed and waking up in a couple of hours to cover ESL Open Cup Americas. That is going to be in 10 hours time. Plenty of time to sleep. Plenty of time to sleep, to wake up, and to be well rested, getting into some ESL Open Cup Americas action. So that's going to be the plan here on the Cranky Ducklings. Tomorrow, we will also be doing a catch-up stream as well. We're going to be catching up with World Team League. We were casting on Sunday, so we actually didn't get to cast World Team League live. But we do have the VODs. We do have replays available. So we will be going over day 3 of this most recent week's WTL. From yesterday, basically. Yesterday's WTL. We'll be casting that tomorrow in the afternoon, in just under 24 hours time. So a lot of casting going on. 2 broadcasts tomorrow. 2.5 actually. Because we're going to do WTL day 3 and we're going to do the second half of day 1 as well. So a lot of StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft to be had. And yeah, I hope you all had a great time. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Shout out to Gemini for giving us a raid earlier. If you remember, Gemini did raid us. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. Where's my shower with your dad stream? I'm far too tired for that. I'm at bed time, man. Bed time. But yeah, with that, we're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. If you want to follow us, if you enjoyed the content, if you want some more, !socials in the chat. We'll give you a link to everything else. !socials. We'll give you a link to our Discord server, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube. We have a Discord server as well. Sorry, we have YouTube and everything else. So you can follow us if you wish. We also have a Patreon. You can see our goal just underneath me. Our Patreon goal to fully fund our events. We do host events on a bi-weekly basis. And our goal there is to actually have it fully funded by the community, as that's how much we spend on a monthly basis. And our goal is to turn our bi-weeklies into weeklies. But again, it all comes down to whether there's enough interest in the community, in the scene. So you can support us there if you wish, or you can always subscribe as well. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americas and for World Team League. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Bye. See you next time. See you next time.